Vital on the glass. Thumb on the glass. And it's a great start for the Bears.
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Up top, here is Vital. Oh, the catch and the finish. Nice rim run on the baseline for big Mark Vital.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Vital clears some space and knocks it down as he sent TJ Shannon flying.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Vital gets it to the far side. Teague up high off the glass. Oh, nice! Vital had to revitalize.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. Wednesday, SicEm365. The 26th of May, headed into Memorial Weekend. Not sure what plans you might have, but it comes up. Of course, Monday is Memorial Day. How about Adrian Boitan? How about the Baylor sophomore? Mac Rhodes talked a little bit about him yesterday. He beat a 10-time All-American. How do you win 10 All-Americans, or how do you get 10 times an All-American? You are an All-American singles and doubles every year in college, plus he got the bonus year from COVID. And also avenged the loss to Blumberg from earlier in the indoor championship against North Carolina back in February. He will join us. Adrian Boitan will join us today at 3:15. And then Chuck Cooperstein of the Mavericks 2-0 lead against the Clippers today at 3:30. So, you know, you have this run of Baylor men's tennis, and it's amazing. And I didn't know. I didn't know who was expected to go deep or whatever. But it continues. The magic continues, and he's in the Final Four, yet another person who's in the semifinals.
Yeah, you know, and look, I know the team thing is over, but you know, Boitan just on a roll right now, and look, a national championship's a national championship, whether it comes in you know, an individual or team. So
yeah, it's a good deal. Glad for him to be still active and in the mix, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, he's been very impressive considering there's been little to no layoff from the team portion. He's had to basically go straight into this in singles competition without any type of a break, and you know, so what, he's been playing for like a week straight now, basically.
Oh man, longer than that maybe.
Yeah, so he's probably pushing it to the max right now. But hey, this is why you do it. So you know, good for him, and hopefully he can, you know, punch that final ticket that they weren't able to do as a team.
He will join us at 3:15. We appreciate Max Calderon for setting that up, and also Mike Woodson. He's not a real talkative guy. He's kind of almost introverted. But when he gets on the tennis court, they call him see-ball, hit ball. In other words, he's a tennis. That's what he dreams. That's what he does. He's a sophomore as well, and he's in the semifinals in men's tennis in the individual outdoors championship. A couple of notes from last night. Mavericks beat the Clippers 127-121. 73-71 at halftime. Luka Doncic was amazing. Dirk Nowitzki was behind the bench last night. How much do you think that gave them that little bit of something extra? Sometimes that might overwhelm you, but the Mavericks with Doncic getting 39 points.
Well, yeah, and look, they were on the road, you know, against the Clippers. So I would think it would be maybe a little bit more if, you know, if the Mavericks fans see Dirk in the building. But maybe, I mean, yeah, sure, you know, Dirk probably, I mean, he's.
You don't mean to tell me that Dirk behind the bench?
I think so, especially for a team full of European guys that look up to Dirk as well. But and he has this kind of way about him. I saw him in the picture of him in the press, like he was just after the game. He was in the back listening to Luka answer questions at the press conference the other day, and you thought, like, you know, come on. I mean, does he have to do that? But he did. I mean, he's there for support, and yeah, I think it probably helps.
I thought about this. Mark Vital, by the way, is supposed to join us today at the 4 o'clock hour. He's on his way in. He's got that promotion at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco on Saturday morning. He's going to join us in studio at about 4 o'clock today. I had this thought when I was thinking about Dirk Nowitzki, and then I saw Kenny Mayne, of course, in his last Sports Center on Monday. Who would you, as a sports personality, like to go drink a beer with? One person. Not a Hollywood person or not somebody on television. Just a sports personality. would you like to go drink a beer with?
Who?
And you don't have to answer it now. Obviously, I just kind of tossed that on you. Armstrong, anyone I know would probably, I don't know, would it be Jordan Spieth? But would you want to go drink a beer with Jordan Spieth, or is there somebody else that you would rather maybe sit down and drink a cold one with?
Oh, you all know the Bryson DeChambeau. I can't wait to.
You'd have to get out of Koepka's way. No, yeah. or just have lunch with an appetizer, Dr. Pepper, whatever. Anyone for you, Craig?
I'd have to think about this. I'm not, stargazing anymore when it comes to pro athletes and things like that. If I was younger, I'd probably say Ken Griffey Jr. or someone like along those lines, Michael Jordan. Now I'm older, and Michael Jordan doesn't seem like he'd be that fun. Maybe that would still be the choice. Maybe it'd still be Griffey, but there's certainly nobody in today's game that I go like, man, I really want to get to know that guy. I'm jaded. I'll admit it in some ways. So, no, I'd have to sit and really kind of think about it some more.
I think Charles Barkley would be fun.
He'd be cool. Yeah.
I think Charles Barkley would be fun. You mentioned that, it's a great Dirk question. Dirk's probably the one guy that would not disappoint you. Like, even if Dirk could be your 20th choice, and you'd go and be like, that was nice, that was lovely, it was fun. That's the kind of guy Dirk seems to be. But I'm not quite to your level of jaded, but I'm pretty darn jaded, Craig. I mean, I'm jaded about many other things.
Daniel mentioned Charles Barkley. By the way, Baylor baseball is on life support after getting blown out today by Texas Tech 11-4. And TCU's losing to Kansas State, so the loser of that game would play Baylor. Baylor might need to play TCU tomorrow, beat TCU tomorrow to continue their hopes of an NCAA tournament bid. And I don't know, they could maybe go 0-2 and still make it. But I did see where Kendall Rogers answered Scotty B's question on Twitter. If Baylor goes out in 2, do they still get a bid? And he said probably unlikely, because there's going to be some upsets in baseball like there is in basketball, and might eventually block them out.
Yeah, and, no one really to blame but themselves if that happens. They've had, a lot of opportunities to win some games that would have helped, maybe push them over the edge. And here at the tail end, I know there's, COVID and there's injuries, and, it's not all in their control. But, this is like the worst possible kind of end of the season, just the way they've limped along here. So, you put all this pressure on, or not even so much pressure, but you put all this talk onto this one game today, and then you go out and get beat by 7 runs. So it's like,
and you were down early, and pitching staff bailed early.
Like, what are you supposed to hold on to really right now when it comes to Baylor baseball? There's not a lot of positive momentum. But going back to your question, I mean, you brought up Dirk to start it off. I mean, Dirk would be a guy that I would like to sit down and have a beer with. He'd be at the top of the list for sure. I wasn't even considering him, even though that was the basis of your question. But yeah, it would be probably him. A Griffey, like I said. Luka might be a little bit too young and goofy for me to really enjoy that too much, because I'm at the age now where there is that enough of a separation where it's like he might be annoying. But man, last night that was stud stuff. I mean, he is truly special. He is truly I don't know about once in a lifetime, but pretty close to it type of a player. And, to go from the Dirk Nowitzki era and have, 3-4 years of just kind of bleh, to then, when's Dirk going to retire basically was like the run after the championship. It was like 4 years of Dirk, can we get him another one? Dirk, can we get him another one? And then, finally just like, this isn't going to happen again. So Luka was the pick, and, it could have been Trae Young. It could have been it could have worked out a lot of different ways, but it ended up being Luka, and Mavs fans got really lucky. That was impressive.
Yeah, it's not many people that when Kawhi Leonard scores 41 points, can make you kind of like. I know Kawhi scored 41 points. It's in my head. Kawhi scored 41 last night, but when I think about the game, and I was watching hockey, so I didn't see any of it, but when I watched the highlights today, and I'm reading about it, like. It was such an afterthought that Kawhi Leonard had 41 points. It was Luka and what he did.
Yeah, the Kawhi and 41 points thing, I mean, there are a lot of people at the Clippers' neck right now. They are a team that people love to jab at because, they tried to form this super team, and, they've knocked on the door so many different times with different incarnations of that Clippers roster, too, and they've really all amounted to nothing but just a lot of talk on shows. And that's really all they've ever, amounted to. So, it's a weird situation. I mean, that was, Kawhi's coming, and PG, and it's going to be this great thing, and it has not been this great thing that they thought it was going to be. But the Mavericks, I mean, they still got to win 2 more games, and they're coming home. So, I mean, if they blow this, then that would be an all-time meltdown. But I don't expect them to the way that they're playing right now. And the 41 by Kawhi, that to me is like, hey, we went on a long run, but did you win the championship? No. So it's forgettable. And that's kind of going back to what I talked about the last week.
Let's well, Chuck Cooperstein will join us at 3:30 to talk more about it. But the Clippers are in trouble. And I mentioned this to you, Paul. I don't know if, and I got a couple of the notes we want to get to, but I don't know if the Clippers ever took on that Popovich Spurs, Kawhi Leonard in Toronto, that type of toughness that he learned under San Antonio's regime, and then took to Toronto and they learned it. And I don't think the Clippers have ever accepted it, or maybe they just never understood what it was.
You know, and Kawhi, I mean, he was drafted onto a super team. I mean, the Spurs didn't build a super team by free agency. They did it through the draft by being.
They tanked and got Robinson, or is it Duncan?
Duncan,
yeah.
But I mean, but after that, they just made shrewd move after shrewd move after shrewd move. And look, the Raptors did the same thing. He wasn't part of a super team with the Raptors. He went up there and he was the thing that took them over the top. And then with the Clippers, they're trying to do something that's never been done around Kawhi before. They're trying to build that as opposed to Kawhi stepped into something that was already built in both places. Not saying he's not a builder. I think he's one of the best players that's ever played. But
he took Toronto over the top. Yeah. He was the reason they were able to get to the next level. He has not helped the Clippers do that at all.
Here's the deal, man. The fact of the matter is they just don't have any answers. Luka Doncic embarrassed the Clippers' vaunted defense last night. I mean, and everybody was pointed out how much attention has been paid to the Clippers and, how great of a defensive team they are and how many great defenders they have. And, it was funny. Somebody was circulating an old Russell Westbrook quote on Pat Beverly where he got asked a question about Pat Beverly and how good of a defender he was. And Russell Westbrook just laughed at the reporter and was like, man, he's got y'all all confused that basically he was saying that Beverly being a great defender is like some media narrative, basically, and that all he really does is just run around. And so it makes people think, I guess, that he's playing great defense. So somebody drug that up because Beverly's defense, and it wasn't just him, it was the Clippers as a whole, they had no answers for Luka Doncic. I mean, absolutely none, and no real answers overall. So this is a fun Mavs team. They've been scrappy, but this has been an impressive start.
He seems to be Dirk without the height, but Dirk, the way he shoots even from the perimeter, from different angles and whatever. But Dirk's a Hall of Famer. Doncic still has a long way to go. Adrian Boitan will join us momentarily, also from the 817 on to sit down and have lunch with or whatever. Easy one. Dak Prescott from today's athletes, the old school Michael Irvin, never a dull moment there. Like a Charles Barkley as well. You can continue with us on that throughout the day if you want. All right, Armstrong, I put up the poll about the over-under on wins and losses or wins for Baylor in football. It's going to be over in about an hour. This is through nearly 275 votes, 6+ wins, slightly below, so 78.5% or 79.5% of everyone saying that they'll win 6 games or more. I think it's fair, and I would be interesting if I would have put 6 wins and then 7+ wins. That would have been interesting to see how much that would have changed. But I think everyone, based on that, you're expecting 20% say they won't be a bowl team, and 80% basically say that they expect them to be a bowl team.
Yeah, I don't know Mac Rhodes or anybody else over there across the streets listening, but I think that's a pretty good picture of what the expectations are. I mean, 80%, if you get 10 people in this room right now, 8 of those 10 people would think that the Baylor Bears should be a bowl team next year. So I think that's probably, if you were to spread it across the fan base, probably would average out about the same. So, yeah, there are expectations this year. Unlike last year, there are this year. And we'll see how they meet them.
Last year was an asterisk for a lot of people, but the asterisk is gone. And now you have a new coaching staff along with a lot of new coaches like you did last year, but also now you have expectations. One other quick note, then we'll get Adrian Boitan on the show. The Reese's Senior Bowl is going to have a combine for the historically black colleges and universities, the HBCUs, combine in Mobile. Select players from the 4 different conferences and other HBCU institutions will be invited to participate in the event. It's a first-time thing. That's Jim Nagy, who was a guest of ours about 2 months ago or so. This is great news for the HBCUs as they're trying to get them back. And also, by the way, it can help the HBCUs in recruiting because now you're not just HBCUs and nobody's watching you or nobody knows you're there. If you have the combine, we're ready to go with him. If you have the combine now, there's a chance you will be seen, no matter how many people watch you throughout the season or not. So that's something. And let's not forget it. Things have changed, of course, dramatically. Some of the greatest players ever in the history of pro football have played at HBCUs, from Walter Payton at Jackson State, Darryl Green at Gene Upshaw and Darryl Green and others that also were a part of places like Texas A&I back in the day, and which is now Texas A&M Kingsville. So those are some of the guys that Jerry Rice at Mississippi Valley State. So that's good. I think that's a great thing for the HBCUs.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It'll be interesting to see if it actually leads to any kind of an uptick. I think there are probably players that are overlooked, but it is at a large volume of guys. I don't know. It might be a couple guys a year that we're really talking about. I think that will at least clear that up. It's easy to just paint with a broad brush and say HBCU players are overlooked. Okay, well, let's see how much. And are we talking about 10, 15 players getting drafted a year? Because that's pretty, big. Or are we talking about like maybe a couple guys every year and the problem's not as big as you think and it's actually a talent thing? But I don't know. This will help us find out, and I think it's a good move.
Chuck Cooperstein on the Mavericks 2-0 lead against the Clippers here in about 15 minutes. And right now joined by Adrian Boitan of Baylor. He is into the semifinals in the singles NCAA championships in Orlando. Adrian, I know you have to be tired. You've been playing, it seems like, in Orlando forever. How many now days in a row have you played? How many days in a row have you played, and did you get one day off in between?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to hear you guys. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's the 7th day in a row when I have matches. So it's been a long time. And, yeah, I mean, there was no break in between the team NCAAs and the individuals, which was pretty exhausting for me because I played a lot of matches in the past 2 weeks. But I mean, I'm just trying to dig in and just find the power to overcome these obstacles,
In one sense, is it been good though for your momentum because you've played well, throughout the team portion of the tournament?
Yeah, definitely it gives me a lot of momentum, but it also I play with maybe with some guys that have a couple of days off in between because not everyone got into the finals of the team tournament. So that, I mean, there's a good part because it gives me the momentum, and I played a lot of matches in these courts and I'm used to the conditions. But also I play against guys that had time to practice and had time in between to rest.
Adrian, I know you guys fell short in the team portion a couple days ago, but just what did you make of the run you guys had as a team, getting to the national championship game, just the season you guys had? How will you look back on that?
It was definitely a great season. I mean, we achieved a lot as a team, and I wouldn't want it to make it with other players because I love every single guy on that team and every single coach. And it was definitely a special season, making the finals to the national indoors and then taking a share of the Big 12 conference, winning the Big 12 tournament, and honestly showing we're the best team in the conference, and then make a run for the national title and lose to Florida at basically their house, at their home ground. And I mean, if that match would have been played on a neutral side, probably the ending would have been different. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is now. It was a great season overall.
You played the Bloomberg from North Carolina back in February. In fact, it was on Valentine's, February 14th in the indoor championships. What did you learn in that match? You lost in that match. Today you won. Did it matter that you played him before, and did you learn something from it?
No, definitely. I mean, look, I like Will. He seems like a great guy to be around, and just a great sportsmanship. He's just a great guy in general overall. And definitely, like, I knew that he's basically was the most dominant player in college tennis along like this 4 or 5 years since he's been here. And this whole season, I wanted to beat him, and definitely helped me a lot in that match, national indoors, to learn a lot of things about his game and about my game, and what do I need to actually do in order to put myself in a better spot. And no, I mean, today I feel like I executed the plan really well, and I got it done.
First time that a Baylor player has reached the semifinals in 16 years. Did you know some of the history of the singles players at Baylor? They produced a lot of pretty good ones.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I didn't know about that stat, but now that you told me, I feel really fortunate, and I can only feed myself off it and just get more confidence that, like, after I'm done here, I want to play pro, and this just proves me that I have the level and I have the game and the potential to make it to the pros and, become one of the great players in the world. Why not?
How much of your memory bank is watching guys that you may play or have played and remembering what their strengths and weaknesses are and building a game plan for that?
No, I mean, honestly, when I play a match, it's not a lot about what the other players are doing or playing. It's more about what do I need to do, because my game style is like, it's good against most of the players. Like, there's not a lot of players that can counter that, or if they do, they will have to play a really well game and have the conditions, like wind, for example. Like, if there's windy outside, my chances are lower because I cannot hit the spots that I usually do in a normal weather. So it really depends, because I don't really play differently with everyone, I just play my game.
Adrian, you're in the semifinals now. Can you taste it? Can you kind of just now, no matter how tired or exhausted, and it sounds like today you really had a pick-me-up with energy, as you mentioned, and especially with the performance you had. Can you just see that finish line right now?
No, to be honest, not right now, because now I'm just thinking about the next day, the next match. I'm not thinking about the title or whatever. I'm just taking it day by day, trying to recover and just rest as well as possible and give myself the best opportunity that I can have to win it. But right now, I mean, I'm not thinking about that. If I happen to win it, that's great. But like, I'm already like proud of what I achieved this season, because it's really hard to play line one in a team tournament and make a deep run to the finals, and then come to this individuals where 90% of the players are rested and they practice and they train for that tournament, and then get this far in this tournament as well. So what will happen will happen. I'll do my best to win, but I'm happy with where I got to.
Let me ask you this. When the team tournament ended and you had to go straight into singles, you just mentioned that. Was there a time at all, even though you wanted to win, you wanted to get to that next level, you wanted to have maybe a chance to face Bloomberg, who you just mentioned? Was there a time on Sunday or Monday where you were like, man, I don't know if I have this in me right now? Because you had to look at the entire week in front of you. Did you ever just I don't know if I can do this?
Well, honestly, I didn't even look at the draw at the beginning. I had no idea who I was playing. I had no idea who I was playing in the first round, who I was playing in the second round, who I was playing in the third round. I just went there and played. And but something about what you said, yeah, definitely. I mean, I was talking to Mike and Isaac and George and telling them that whenever the NCAA team tournament is going to be here in May, I want to I was imagining myself that we're going to play UNC and it's going to get down to me at 3-all, and I'm going to be me against Bloomberg to decide the match. And that's what I set off to, train hard and practice well and just be the best as I can be. It didn't happen in the team tournament, but it happened in the individuals. So I'm still happy about it.
Have you seen?
But it was definitely a goal set up from like months ago.
Yeah, it's been a great. You're showing a lot of perseverance and obviously resiliency. You played Daniel Rodriguez of South Carolina. He's the number 2 seed overall. Have you seen him play before? Have you ever played against him?
Look, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea how he plays. I have no idea if he's righty or lefty. We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow before the game, but I feel like as long as I'm going to keep doing what I did today, I'll probably be fine.
One more thing. Your teammates say, when I've heard they discuss you, see ball, hit ball. Is tennis, what does that mean? I mean, I think I understand what it means. Is tennis just something that's just infused in your blood?
Well, about that, it's just a great way to describe my game, honestly, because I'm not like a physical guy that keeps grinding for every point, like running side to side and doing all those things. I just basically see ball and hit ball, and I do it. I do it pretty well, and that's how I've been trained. You know, when I was a kid, I had a really aggressive game style, and my coaches, like, I was angry because I was losing when I was a kid because the game, like the game was there, but like the power and like the ability to control the ball wasn't there because I was like 12 or like I'm talking when I was 12, 14. So I was a kid still. But they kept telling me, you know, like, keep doing what you're doing because it's gonna come when you're gonna grow up, you're gonna be able to hit those balls and you're gonna be unstoppable. Basically, that's what they told me and kept telling me. So right now, yeah, I feel like they were right, and I feel like I'm definitely on the right path in my career.
Hey, Adrian, congratulations on what you've accomplished. I know you want more, and you have a chance to continue on. Thank you for joining us. I know you're tired, and your last thing you want to do is an interview. But, hey, you keep doing this. You're going to be doing a lot of interviews, so you better get used to them, right?
Yeah, I will get used to it.
Thank you, young man. Good luck. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Adrian Boitan with us. He's in the semifinals, plays a young man from South Carolina tomorrow. He continues. Paul and Craig, I understand what Nintendo is. What is Nintendo Switch?
It's basically like a portable Nintendo system, and not like it's a Nintendo-based system, but it's more handheld, and you can carry it around.
That's what is his downtime. I didn't want to keep him too much longer.
Play like on the plane and cars.
You can also hook it into like a TV too.
Yeah,
so
you can do that.
Instead of it just being so if you were you're out and you're on the plane, you're playing it, you get back to the hotel, and you're like, you don't want to keep playing this game, you can throw it up on the screen and play it there too. So.
All right, well, that's what he does. I was giving a little heads up. Good luck, man. Adrian Boitan is on his way into the semifinals for Baylor. When we come back, Mavericks, we discussed that quite a bit, up 2 games tonight against the Clippers. Clippers are in trouble. Chuck Cooper's team broadcasts the game. He knows everything. Mavericks, he'll join us next. SicEm365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine. I stopped in the other day, and I saw Jeffrey Chapman, who's Steve's son, and we talked about that new Balcones release, that single barrel that they have there. It's the only place you can get it, and it was aged in a wine barrel, in a whiskey barrel, and then another. I mean, just in an unbelievable thing that they did. So it's got a very unique taste and unique flavors and notes to it. So if you're a whiskey fan, get over there and get that bottle while it lasts. They have that there. But also, look, if you're a fan of anything, if you're a fan of beer, if you're a fan of wine, if you're a fan of vodka, if you're a fan of whatever you're a fan of, believe me, they've got it there for you at Riverbend Liquor and Wine. An unbelievable selection, a great drive-through window, an unbelievable selection of craft beer. The customer service, again, like I've always said, is second to none. Lakeshore Drive at North 19th Street, a hidden gem in Waco. Find out more about Riverbend Liquor and Wine on Facebook and Instagram.
Pay over qualified buyer with $4,000 down to 2.9%. TTNL Extra. See deal for details.
Travel is back, and so are the savings of the Memorial Day Savings Event at Richard Carr. Save $5,900 on 2021 Buick Encore. Drive off in the affordable luxury of a Buick Encore for as little as $258 a month. Or vacation in the spacious comfort of a 3-row Buick Enclave and save $8,500. 100% credit approval is always our goal. It's the Memorial Day Savings Event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
All right, here we go. This 3 o'clock hour rolling along. And Chuck Cooperstein, voice of the Mavericks. God, it's great to have Chuck on. So many times he's joined us since we launched our show 13 or 14 months ago. And how about the Mavericks up 2 games to none against the Clippers? Chuck, thanks for your time. Did you see this coming?
Can't say I saw a 2-0 lead, but I did see the Mavericks being far more competitive than a lot of people outside of the immediate Maverick world, if you will, who just thought that this was going to be a 5-game series, a gentleman's sweep, that type of thing. They didn't take into account that the Mavericks had played the way they played against the Clippers this year, did not take into account the difficulty of the series last year. That they're just kind of looking at stars and things and seeing how that plays out, as opposed to actually watching the game and seeing what's happening. And I think that's one of the advantages of watching every game that they play, is that you do get a sense for what they do well and what they don't. And against the Clippers, they obviously they've been terrific in every game they've played against the Clippers this year. The 5 games they've played, they have shot no worse than 49.4% in any of those games. It's absolutely uncanny. And obviously last night was the best of the lot. shooting it the way they shot.
Playoff experience is something you can't, replicate, or, you can't do anything about it in the lab or practice it, or, the regular season doesn't help you with that. But the Mavs got a little bit of it last year, a little bit more. And it looks like Luka now is becoming that playoff player. Do you see that growing in him kind of each and every night, of where he is a dude in the playoffs?
He's a dude, period.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I necessarily see that. What I do see is a bit more demonstrative Luka in a positive vein, not so much complaining to the officials about what is or what isn't. But I think, and maybe this is alluding, Paul, what you were talking about, just the, from last year when you saw the Clippers try to trash talk the Mavericks, try to punk them, and the Mavericks, I won't say they were allowing it to happen, but the Clippers felt really comfortable in doing it. And this time around, the Clippers on some levels are trying to do it, but the Mavericks are having none of it. And indeed, sometimes, and in the case of Luka, we've seen it several times, and especially at the expense of Patrick Beverley, where he just basically, pounded his chest or waved his and wagged his finger a la Dikembe Mutombo, just saying that you can't stop me. You cannot stop me. So from that standpoint, maybe the experience has helped them. But, I think people forget this team was playing really well at the end of the year. They had the best record in the NBA over the last 16 games. They came in on a real high. And I think that was discounted by a lot of people. And, again, not to say that this series is over, because we've seen this before. It hasn't happened often that a team has lost the first two games at home and come back to win a series. It's only happened 4 times in NBA history, but we saw the Mavericks do it back in 2005 against the Rockets, so we all know. And, you do have 2 superstar players on the other side who are playing quite well. But right now, the biggest difference is that the Maverick role players, everyone in the 10-man rotation that the Mavericks have used, has had a contribution to helping them win in a major way, as opposed to you look at the Clippers and really they have not even come close to getting that type of production from people other than George and Leonard.
Chuck, as you mentioned, they've had a hard time trying to spell how to guard him. I mean, he's either too big or too quick, depending on who's on him. He's sitting there making, one-legged threes. There's not much you can do about that. I mean, how do you think the Clippers try to reevaluate, or does it matter if he's making shots?
Well, this is a $64 million question right now. I'm giving him the Steph Curry treatment that the Lakers gave Curry in that play game. And basically, I'm not letting him bring the ball up the floor. I'm overplaying him. I may even send a second guy at him, and I have to at least try to see without his initiation if we can somehow slow them down if I'm the Clippers. Because obviously the way it's gone in this series, the way it's gone all year long against the Clippers, it just has not worked. It hasn't come close to working. So, I mean, if you're Ty Lue, really, what is the definition of insanity? Do you go back and do this thing all over again the same way, or you try something different? And I would imagine that they would try the Laker Curry tactic, if you will, at least for some portion of the game on Friday night. Look, I have to believe that at this point that the Clippers are going to have to basically throw the kitchen sink at the Mavericks, because they have to win the game.
Yeah.
If they don't win the game, the series is over. All right, because no team has ever come back to 3-0 down to win an NBA playoff series, a 7-game series. So that's basically what it comes down to. If you're the Clippers, you have to throw everything at the Mavericks and at Doncic, and hope that that is the response, that's the correct response. Because otherwise, on Friday night around 11:30 or so, there could be a lot of dancing outside the American Airlines Center.
No question about it. Chuck, the Clippers have Kawhi Leonard, who had 41 last night, and he was drafted into a dynasty with the Spurs, and then also was a big part of what they did. But then he took all of what I guess you learned under Popovich, and even though it was a terrible kind of an exit, it helped Toronto gain some of that toughness. Has he failed in being able, not him, or has it just not worked with the Clippers soaking in what Kawhi brought to the team?
Well, see, I think a little bit different too, because, Kawhi, as talented as Kawhi is, and as much of, quote unquote, the man as he can be, to me, since the move to the Clippers, I think his personality has changed in how he's played, and frankly, how hard he plays.
Okay.
I really think he picks his spots much more than he ever did with San Antonio or Toronto, where he just went all out all the time. And certainly once he established himself, in San Antonio, it got to the point you simply could not stop him. But he's obviously very good offensively. He's still very efficient offensively. He's not nearly the defender, the one-on-one defender that he's been. And I'm not exactly sure why that is. I'm not sure why he's not dialed in the same way. And he's got a few steals here and there, but he's not the same one-man wrecking crew defensively that he's been in the past. And I think the Clippers kind of need to they need the old Kawhi. That's, I think, the player they thought they were getting, because I do think the other guys sort of follow in what he does, and they've just not been very good defensively at all in this series. The credits to the Mavericks for making a whole bunch of shots, but the Clippers have been so confused defensively on so many occasions in possession. I mean, you see time and again players looking at each other saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And looking over at the bench and saying, "What are we doing?" It's not a very good situation for them right now at all, which the Mavericks will certainly take.
Yeah, Chuck, not all super teams are created equally. It's not just about the big moves that you make, but it's also, like you said, they haven't gotten the Kawhi that they wanted. Paul George has been good, but I don't know if they've really gotten the Paul George that they thought they were getting either, have they?
Well, Paul George was, I thought, really good this year. He had an excellent year, but for Paul George, the issue was always the playoffs, right? His numbers in the series generally are pretty good, except for his three-point shooting so far. He's 3 of 15 from three. But he's shooting 50%. He's not having any of these 4 for 19 games so far, like we saw in the bubble last year. He had a terrific fourth quarter last night. It was a huge part of the Clippers trying to make a run back at the Mavericks after they built a 14-point lead. So I put a lot less on him than I do on Kawhi, because Kawhi is the guy, and I think Kawhi does set the tone for how they play. And I don't think he's brought that same total killer mentality to these two games, certainly, or even go back to the last 3 games of the Denver series in the bubble than he did in his time with Toronto and San Antonio.
How much confidence, Chuck, is Tim Hardaway Jr. playing with right now?
Is there a number larger than infinite?
No, he looks just dynamic right now.
Well, ever since that game in Detroit, at the end of April, with Dad in the stands, they went for 42 and he made 10 3-pointers. I mean, he's been next to unstoppable. I mean, he's shooting nearly 50% from three, way over that from the floor, and you just knew at the end of the game, when they did get the ball out of Luka's hands, they tried to trap him. And Dorian Finney-Smith came up to the nail to receive that pass, and of course, there was Hardaway wide open at the right wing because they came out to try to trap Luka. Was there any question he was going to make that shot? There was absolutely none in my mind, and he fired it, made it, game over, and that's just the way he's played. It's been more than acceptable on the defensive end. We've seen him draw a bunch of charges. This year, the top 10 in the league in charges drawn, and he plays with an edge to him that is very useful at this time of the year.
Chuck, thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's been very impressive, no question about it. They're so explosive. How much? And we asked, all three of us talked about this. Dirk was there last night. Does that give him a little extra boost, or is they've seen him enough where that doesn't really matter?
Well, I think if you saw the end, you saw Luka go find him. I think Luka was pretty damn happy to see him.
Yeah.
And because they haven't seen him very much. Now, he was at a game. He's been at several games at home, and I want to say he was at a game on the road earlier this year, and I can't remember exactly where it was. But Dirk's not been around very much. He's been doing his own thing, and he's giving those guys space. But listen, anytime the greatest player in franchise history is in the building, and you produce a performance worthy of that man's presence, then yeah, I think it did matter.
Absolutely.
And I think they really took to it.
Yep. Chuck, thank you so much for being available as much as you are. Good luck the rest of the way. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.
Chuck Cooperstein, voice of the Mavericks. By the way, last night, that Lakers and Phoenix series, Phoenix won the opening game. Chris Paul went down with an injury. I haven't seen any update on that.
He's been injured, and it sucks because Phoenix has no real chance without him, and he's clearly hobbled, clearly hurt, and had to miss large stretch of that game. So without a healthy Chris Paul, it's kind of what it is, but it would be fun to see what Phoenix could do if he was, fully healthy and could actually go full force.
I thought maybe that opening win. So in 2014, he went out with a hamstring injury against Golden State. San Antonio hamstring the next year. Portland broken something. 2018 hamstring against Golden State. 2019, no postseason, but ailing hamstring throughout the year. Last year, no postseason, didn't play. And then shoulder, neck, whatever it might be. It's 1-1 now. The Lakers.
That's the story of Chris Paul.
Series. Yeah,
that's
it is.
The story of Chris Paul is he's a great player. He's one of the greatest point guards of all time. Some people will argue he's the best, natural point guard of all time. But if you're going to knock him, you can knock him by saying that, his health is usually a question mark, and especially in the postseason. And, what do they say about the best ability, right? His availability. And so, it's great to have him available, but, there's always that chance when you have Chris Paul that he'll be there to play, but not all the way healthy, and that's the case right now for Phoenix.
By the way, when we come back, we got a couple of notes. Remember, former Baylor coach Tate Wallace was under investigation. He was arrested, I believe it was, up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a relationship with a former student or a student at Argyle High School. There's an update on that story. We'll have that for you as well, along with a couple of other notes. Mark Vidal will be in studio at some point in the 4 o'clock hour, and this is SicEm365 Radio. Memorial Day weekend, do you have what you're going to put on the grill or smoker or wherever you are? Here's some great little notes at Waco Custom Marketplace that's for this week, 425 Lake Air Drive. You want to put some hot links on the grill, $3.75 a pound. How about some boudin at $2.99 a pound? German sausage, $3.50 a pound. Pork spare ribs, you want to eat those? $3.25 a pound. And whole chickens. It's always a good favorite to do at this time of the year, $3.25 a pound. Choice filet steaks at $16.99 a pound. Tenderloins that are trimmed, choice tenderloins at $16.99 a pound. And then on top of that, you want to just do a bunch of hamburgers, a pound of frozen ground beef, $2.75 a pound. Get a bunch of that. Make them yourself, the homemade hamburger patties. 10% off all B&B charcoal. And don't also, if you want to do a shrimp boil, they've got, you have until, what is today, Wednesday, 2 hours or so to call them up to get your 30-pound sacks of live crawfish for $4.25 per pound. Order it by 6 today, the crawfish. Pick it up on Saturday after 2 and have it for Memorial Weekend. And they also have shrimp available, and they have the seasoning, and they have all of what you need to have a great shrimp boil, including corn cobettes. Waco Custom Marketplace, Memorial Day weekend. That's your location at 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Alan Alan Samuels is celebrating Jeep Memorial Day sales event. It's an exciting time for the new Jeep Cherokee Latitude or Lux with up to $5,000 in values or 0% for 84 months. The new Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus or Lux is built tough as nails, and the Memorial Day sales event is going on now. Jeep, a great SUV. Alan Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer. The best place to get your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340. Alan Samuels is your friend in the car business.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
TCU and Kansas State are tied at 6 apiece in the second game today at the Big 12 tournament. In the 7th inning, the winner of that game moves on, of course, in the winner's bracket. The loser gets Baylor tomorrow. Baylor would probably, you would think, rather play Kansas State to try to get a win, but TCU and K-State tied in the 7th at 6-6. Baylor lost to Tech 11-4. Now, Tate Wallace, former Baylor coach, charges of improper relationship between Tate Wallace and a student. The former North Texas assistant football coach dismissed by Judge Leanne Breeding today, according to Wallace's attorney, Earl Dobson. Both counts of the improper relationship between Wallace and the student that were leveled against him have been dismissed. Both charges stem from back when he was an assistant coach at Argyle High School, soon after he had been on staff at Baylor. He was placed on administrative leave. They did not replace his position when he first left North Texas, but they have since that time.
I'm wondering what the reason for the dismissal was.
And let me tell you this: there were a lot of people who reported the story when the charges were against him, and I get that. But I wonder what the percentage will be that will not report the fact the charges were dismissed. And I don't know the inside story to this. I have no idea. I do know that I will at some point have a visit with Tate Wallace and, just to talk to him a little bit. But, and Tate, when he left Baylor, he was part of that group. A lot of guys that I knew very well that were very bitter for a lot of reasons. But then this happened, and it's former Baylor coach. But I wanted to give the update on the Tate Wallace story because those charges, both of them, have been dropped. Now, Paul, the Dodgers last night hammered the Astros 9-2. This is not a Max Muncy note. However, did you notice how many times have you seen at the professional level 3 consecutive bases-loaded walks?
Not very often.
It happened.
No.
It happened with some guy named Scrub. Barnes walked. Taylor scored. Betts walked. Lux scored. And before that, I think Beatty walked against another pitcher and scored. 3 consecutive bases-loaded walks in the Dodgers' 9-2 win that popped open that game that was 5-1, and they ended up winning 9-2.
Yeah, interesting. Also tonight, Trevor Bauer pitches for the Dodgers, so that should be interesting. Note today, I just saw an article about Max Muncy. He was in a horrible 2-for-41 slump. While he was in his 2-for-41 slump, the Dodgers weren't winning. Since then, he has been red smoking hot, and the Dodgers are also. So far this year, as Max Muncy goes, so goes the Dodgers.
Well, Kershaw last night was almost unhittable. Got a standing ovation from the Astros crowd as he exited the field from the mound.
Yeah, the one telling thing I will say to every Astros fan about Clayton Kershaw is that going into that series with the Astros in the World Series, the batting average on his changeup was something ridiculous, like 137. Like nobody hit his changeup. Nobody made contact with his changeup. If you did, it was a pop-up or some kind of weak ground ball. And then the Astros against Clayton Kershaw's changeup hit like 397 because they knew, because they were stealing signs and they knew what was going on. So without, banging on the trash can, the changeup is pretty darn effective. And, you saw it last night when, nobody's banging on the trash can. That changeup comes, and it's just a murder pitch.
It's like hitting a wiffle ball.
You can't do anything about it.
It's like a Phil Niekro knuckleball. Mm-hmm. Baseball and softball tonight locally. In baseball, Yo plays Buna in the first of a best-of-3 series. Bosqueville, 31-2, will play Windthorst tonight. That's in Weatherford, best-of-3 series. And Crawford and Lindsay tomorrow, their first of best-of-3 series will be tomorrow. They'll play 2 games tomorrow and possibly a game on Saturday. And then in softball, Crawford starts a 3-game series with Italy in the 2A regional finals. The winner goes to the state tournament. They will play in Whitney. That's tonight at 6 o'clock, best-of-3. Lake Belton, they're having success in baseball and also in softball. Baseball finally was knocked out. But they play Liberty tonight in Navasota, or tomorrow, starting game 1 tomorrow, best-of-3 as well. So those are the local teams still alive in both local baseball and also softball. When we come back, I'm not sure if he's going to be here quite yet. Mark Vidal, trying to battle the traffic on his way down from Dallas, will be in studio with us, the former Baylor forward and national champion, SicEm365 Radio.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wrap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today. Just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway, Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Trying to sneak it in, heavily covered there. Potter on the deck, pickpocketed right here. Hold
on! The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Here they go! It almost looked like Vital was in slow motion. He was in the air so long.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Four o'clock hour, Mark Vital, Baylor All-American, national champion. He'll join us here in studio momentarily. Then Jason Jennings, former Baylor pitcher, will join us as well. I've tried to go back and get some guys that played at Baylor and around the area with David Murphy, Arthur Rhodes, Jason Jennings on baseball. And we've got some different views. Some are a little bit more harsh than others about today's game, but I kind of like the responses we've gotten as well. If you missed it earlier, Adrian Boitan, joined us. He is in the semifinals in the men's singles tournament down in Orlando. It's been a great run for Baylor tennis and a chance for an individual opportunity to play for a national championship if he wins tomorrow against Rodriguez of South Carolina. So the over-under on wins for Baylor. If I would have put 6 and then 7+, how many do you think would have gone 7+?
I think that number would have dropped a little.
Like half? Or do you, I know the fans are always excited. Craig?
You would think it should.
Yeah, I think it would drop pretty dramatically. Probably by about half, yeah.
Okay. Because that's, to me, that I know that you could have, like 2 years ago when some said they win 9, 10 games, and what were they, 11-3 or whatever it was. I was like, there's no way this team's going to win 11. Well, you know why? Because you had seen what happened, even though they had made progress the year before. And when we went game by game, when Craig went game by game last year, other than Oklahoma State, the others, yeah, they had chances, but there was 3 wins right during that clump if just one or two plays are made offensively where they end up going 5-4 and get to a bowl game. And of course, we know that didn't happen, or maybe even 6-3. But I think it's 7+. Is that the cap, or would it be 7.5? Because Vegas wants you to make a bet.
Yeah, I mean, if you did 7.5, I mean, I still think it would drop because
it's going to drop dramatically. I mean, it's going to be like it would delete almost the whole thing if you had 7.5.
So 7. If I just put 7 one way or the other.
Yeah, I think
I think it would be more than 50% would say 7+.
I think some people are going to say 7 because they're optimistic, but I mean, 7 to me would be. I mean, that's a 5-win jump. That's tough for anybody to do.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to upset somebody. And I ran down the entire schedule yesterday, and there was not anybody I was comfortable in picking to say, like, yeah, they're going to beat Texas, or they're going to beat Oklahoma, or they're going to beat, basically anybody outside of Kansas. And it's just it's a big jump, sure. But, again, they didn't play 3 games last year. They did not play 3 games. So there's 3 games missing from their record last year, with 2 of those, if not all 3, automatic wins that nobody takes into account. And you have to take that into account. They are 3 games better than their record last year. Already. Like, it's already done. They're already better. So if you count those games. So we're looking at it like, oh, this is a 2-win team. No, that was really a 5-win team. That's really what it was. So if they're a 5-win team, it's not crazy to think they can win 2 more games. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it, and that's how I've been trying to explain it. It's just, even if they don't win all 3 last year, okay, they win 2. They're still a 4-win team, so they need to win 2 more to make a bowl game. That's not crazy. That's not a big leap, and it's certainly not a big leap when your offense sucked. I mean, they were awful. So, any progression there that adds like another touchdown per game last year, and they're like an 8-win team. They're like an 8-win team with 1 touchdown.
Well, that's a lot, though. A touchdown a game's a lot. I know it seems like that's simple.
Not when you're averaging 19 points a game throughout like an entire stretch. I mean, that's what I'm saying is they were so bad last year that, if there's even any progression, they're automatically a much better team. So a much better team with a defense that should be historically great. I mean, their defense is not going to be that much better anytime soon than I think what they've got in store for this year. If it is, then that's great. That means Dave Aranda is just killing it. But, all-time potentially great, type of a defense with Terrell Bernard and all these guys that you didn't necessarily expect back to be back. 3 extra games to play. That would have had you as a 4 or 5-win team last year, and last year's failure of a year when you only won 2. I mean, it's not a stretch. It's not a stretch to think that they can win 2 more games than they did last year. So long, of course, as they take care of business. And there's not an automatic 3 wins. There's an automatic 2 wins on the schedule. So there alone is 2 that they can match last year's just with 2 of their non-conference games. BYU is a wild card just because we don't know what to expect, and that game's later in the year. So it's not as though they play them in week 3 and you have a good idea that everybody's still sort of feeling things out. They're not playing till later, October, November. So who knows what BYU looks like at that point. But, yeah, you go 7, though. I mean, I think teams that win 8 games are really good teams. And I don't know how good this team is, but I definitely think they're going to be better.
Yeah, if they walk and chew gum offensively last year.
That's all they had to do. Like, that's what I'm saying, is they were so bad. Like, I mean, guys, how many games did we watch last year where you dreaded the offense coming on the field? You dreaded it because you're like, know what this is going to be, 3 and out. I mean, like I said yesterday, they made 100 yards look like 200 yards. They made it look like they were having to go 2 lengths of the field versus everybody else having to go 1 length of the field. I mean, think about how hard it was for them to get to midfield. Mm-hmm. Do y'all remember how hard it was a series to get to midfield half the time. And then, God forbid, getting past midfield and getting past the 30, they could hardly do that. Do that at all. It was ridiculous.
You know what they never did? They rarely got a first down on first down.
No, hardly ever.
They never. It's first down and 10, and then it was first down and 10. It was never that.
No, here's what it was.
It was first down and 10, it was second down and 8, and then it was 3rd and 6.
Well, maybe, and that's a good series. And this is not to be overly critical, but it was easy to be. It was 1st and 10. It's either 1st and 15 or 2nd and 13.
Yeah.
Almost inevitably, there was a false start, and or if not a false start, a loss of a couple of downs, a couple of yards.
And then,
and then it's over. You might as well punt.
2nd down and 9, handoff, you slam into a wall of defenders. 3rd down and 9, or 3rd and 10 now. I mean, that's what it was. And I'm not trying to totally bag and blame everything last year on the offense, because there's coaching that can improve and there's defensive things that can improve and all of that. But I mean, that was such a chore to watch that by the time the season was over, people were relieved. I mean, let's be honest about it. People were just by the time Oklahoma State just kicked their head in and you knew, this season is over, everybody was good, glad. I think everybody was looking forward to the offseason, knowing how crazy the past season had been and having the knowledge that, hey, this is not Dave Aranda's complete picture of what he wants the program to be. This is what he was able to slap together with this weird build-up to this season. So now he's got time. I mean, that alone should make them a better team. Just the off-the-field work that they've done, the practices that they've had. I just don't see any reasons why, anywhere. I don't see any reasons why where they're not a significantly better football team next year. And even the line should be better. Even if it's not great, it should be way better than it was last year.
By the way, speaking of college football, the CBS has put out their schedule of a lot of their broadcast or whatever. October the 9th, is that Craig? Am I right? Texas OU, whatever that Saturday is. And that night, Alabama at Texas A&M. The state of Texas will have 2 monster games. And there'll be other games, and there's other games that might be bigger than those. But that's going to be one hell of a day in early October.
Yeah. By the way, Texas A&M, try not to lose until October 9th to not ruin the hype for that
game.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even play before that. Yeah. They might not even play anybody before that.
But see, Craig, as a person who grew up in the household I did,
yeah, but man, they're past the point of losing gimme games. I mean, they're not going to fall to some Sisters of the Poor before then. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Do they play Florida before then? That's what I'm trying to look up right now. But yeah, I mean, that's the hope, right? If you're an A&M fan or if you're a college football TV executive, the hope is that they will be undefeated for that game. That's why they would want it in prime time. So that looks like it could be a pretty spicy day in the state of Texas when it comes to college football. Let's see. They play Kent State, at Colorado, New Mexico, Arkansas could be interesting, Mississippi State, Alabama. So yeah, I mean, Arkansas will probably be the most interesting one there.
They should win at Colorado, but sometimes Colorado just, they should win. But bottom line is that same day, you've got Texas OU, and then you also have the game with A&M and also Alabama.
At worst, I would think they'd be 4-1, Paul. But they should be 5-0.
Yeah. So and I didn't see the rest of the schedule because I just happened to see a little bit of that as well. 3, 4, so that's 5, going on. Armstrong, let's break. Let's go ahead and break here if you don't mind. I'm going to go track down Mark. He's on his way in. Mark Vital, Baylor All-American and All-National Champion, will join us in studio. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Richard Carr coming up with Craig Smoak. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Travel is back, and so are the savings. The Memorial Day savings event at Richard Carr. Get back on the road with the sophistication and luxury of Buick. Richard Carr is loaded with Buick SUVs, all priced to move. Right now, you can save $5,900 on 2021 Buick Encores, $4,500 on Encore GXs, or $3,900 on midsize Buick Envisions. You've also got the space, luxury, and affordability of the Buick Enclave, the perfect family travel vehicle with 3 rows of first-class seating and a smooth, quiet ride. Right now, save $8,500 on all 2021 Buick Enclaves in stock. And Richard Carr is also loaded with premium pre-owned cars and trucks. All pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move during the Memorial Day savings event, with multiple cars priced under $200 a month for qualified buyers. And Richard Carr Motors is your local Waco family dealer. They take pride in serving their neighbors and want to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes, and superior service after the sale. So come by their clean and disinfected showroom to take a test drive, or let them bring the test drive to you. It's the Memorial Day savings event going on all month at Richard Carr.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, this is fun. 416, SicEm365 Radio, and in studio with us is Baylor national champion and Mark Vidal, and he'll be having an autograph signing meet and greet Saturday morning. Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco. Well, hello.
Well, hello. I've been trying to go on this show right here. I did it over the phone. I'm trying to get in the chair now. I'm in the chair.
What do you think, man? What do you think?
Nice, man. It's legit.
Well, we'll take care of you in here, man. We appreciate you being here. You just drove in, literally just drove in. You're working out. How much are you doing working out right now?
Man, I'm working out a lot, man. I'm doing a lot of working out. I do mornings and afternoons. I do a lot of weights. I do a lot of running, a lot of shooting, like typical stuff. And it's different now because I got more time. So I got more time to actually do stuff, not worry about school. Since I graduated, I've been like, man, I don't know what to do now with my free time. So I got a lot of free time, so I've been just killing myself in the gym and running.
Well, you've sure. I don't know what the weight has changed, but you're slicing up here, Mark.
Yeah.
You can tell you're definitely getting sliced up. Is that as you get ready for the draft in professional basketball, how many things have you learned already that you have to change about what you did before?
Man, if I can go back in time with the stuff I know now, it'll be a lot different. I think my game was elevated early. Like it's serious with the diet because like you can tell. Like when I first started off, I was just eating what I want, and I had a diet. But I was trying to have little cheat days when I wanted to eat what I want. But they can tell, and so it's a strict diet. My recovery went up another level. I ain't never I always did recovery, and it was important. But now it's like super important, and like the IQ of the game changed for me. Like the IQ changed different for me. So, and I'm going against pros every day, like from Marquise Bolden to P.J. Washington. Some guys coming in, joining it. Like, it's a lot of people I'm competing with.
Just how thorough has this experience been, just the NBA draft build-up and just all the different things that go into it? Is it kind of what you envisioned, or has there been, much more to it than you expected?
Nah, man, like, it's just what I wanted it. Like I said, like, I'm working on my weaknesses. The process is great. Like, I thought I was going to struggle through the process, honestly, because I'm like, man, like, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. But we worked on particular stuff that's going to translate over versus stuff I'm not going to do. And they played to my strengths a little bit, too.
What are your weaknesses?
Shooting, of course.
Yeah.
Just confidence. I don't really think that I was a bad shooter because I never shot the ball. It's just that the fact that I didn't have the confidence to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can be in practice all day making threes and get in the game and wouldn't have the confidence. And plus, I had guys around me that can shoot for me, so so I really didn't have to do no shooting. So I had them guys around me that can shoot for me. So really just that. Now I'm a primary. Like I got to work on everything. If I'm going to be an NBA, professional, I got to be able to do stuff myself now.
You, I mean, the progression of you freshman year to now. You came in, but also it was part of what made you exciting and difficult for people was that your freshman year, Coach Drew would send Vital in the game because he wanted you to wreck shop. Like, let's get these guys uncomfortable. This guy is going to – he's a bull in a china shop. Like, I want him to be a bull in a china shop.
Right.
How much did you see them kind of take that and then hone that energy into something different where you – instead of just being a bull in a china shop, you were kind of a targeted missile?
Yeah, so, man, this was so crazy. I talked to a lot of people about this. And I was just talking to a couple of kids about this that coming out of high school, Coach Drew knew I can do. I was a dunker. I was athletic at the time. I was doing more like guard stuff at the time. And, my sophomore year, right, he allowed me to do those things. But as it got on and on and on, I had to change my role. So when that happened, I was just like, man, like I'm not comfortable at first. Because remember when Tristan went down, I had to play center. I never played center a day in my life. And then once that happened, my whole role changed. Because if you go to the year before that, I was the guy coming in here and getting probably 10 points, about 8 quick rebounds. Like, I wouldn't even care about rebound. I was just like, okay, I just need to come here and do something. Mm-hmm. But now it changed to the fact that now I just got to be a role player and be that Dennis Rodman on the team, which I don't have. Dennis Rodman's my favorite player, so I don't have that problem.
What's it like being a national champion all these weeks later?
Man, it's a tough one, man. It's crazy because, like, everywhere I go, I went to Lake Charles. Of course, that's my city. A lot of people know me. But what took the cake was when I was driving to Lake Charles and stopping at gas stations and stuff, people recognized who I was.
Really?
Like, seriously, like, people was, like, looking, but they had to make sure. Like, I've been in a store, like, getting snacks or something, and people would be like, you played on that Baylor team? I was like, yeah. What number are you? And then when I say number 11, they be like, oh, you Rodman. That's what they say. That's what they'll say. And so it changed a lot for me, man, and opened a lot of doors for me to talk to kids. And, like, I motivated a lot of kids back home. That's what I really wanted to do. And even kids just in different areas. I get DMs all the time from, kids that's going through stuff and asking me questions. And, man, it's crazy.
We've asked you this before, and you got your degree. That was huge. Obviously, a big deal. And did you cry? Did you say?
Did I? I tried to hide it a little bit on the stage, but when I got in my car, I was crying.
Yeah, and you talked about you didn't want to be a statistic. You wanted to get through it. Right. Is that something that you feel an amazing accomplishment, but also an accountability for younger men in the area of Lake Charles?
Right, man. Like I said, I didn't want to be I didn't want to either be dead in jail. It's the truth. A lot of people don't like to talk like that, but I'm an honest guy. Normally, kids in Louisiana, they go to jail or, they end up, dead or something because of the stuff that we got to go through just to survive. And so, for me, I took it on my own. I left Lake Charles, Louisiana. I went to Dallas. A lot of people hated me for doing it because I was a star in Lake Charles and Louisiana. And people hated me for it, but I made the right choice. And then now they look at him like, man, you did the right thing. And I'm inspiring a lot of kids. Like a couple kids told me that they moving to Texas now. Or they going to Cali to play basketball just because they want to get out. And I'm telling them it's the right decision. You know, a lot of people going to hate you in the beginning, but the end result is always like that. You know how it go. People hate you, then they love you. That's how it go.
Yep. Yeah, there's like a pressure to stay. There's a pressure to like be in your community and to never leave and to never. And it's like almost like you're turning your back, but really all you're doing is trying to better your life.
What was so crazy about all that whole process was that Boogie Knight was the guy that took me out of Lake Charles. And man, when I say they hated him, he's my mentor. That's what I lived with in Dallas, right? They hated him because they was like, why would you want to take him? Like, why would you want to bring him to Texas? You know what I'm saying? And, man, we both was getting death threats. We was doing all kinds of stuff from different people, like, come your A-word back here, or so-and-so going to happen, or we'll do this to the house. Like, it was crazy. I never told people about that, and this was in my own city. And it was just like that, man. And then when I got to Texas, and they started seeing the Baller's Life and everything, and they started seeing Lake Charles, Louisiana, they're like, oh, snap, he doing this thing, you know? And I'm a national champion that they can't take that away from me.
Ever. Ever. Mark Vidal in studio with us, SicEm365 Radio. So you had a little sidetrack, this tryout with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know you want to play in the NBA, and I don't know how that went, but, you know, because I don't know if you heard this story, I got a call from somebody that wanted your number because the Cowboys were intrigued by you. The guy named Jerry Jones was intrigued by you.
Hey, man. I mean, it's already out there. I mean, I did a little workout with him. And like I said, man, basketball is my heart. You know what I'm saying? But it went well, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, that'd be like to be like a last resort for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm focused on basketball, NBA draft, all that. But it's good to have options, though. I can't sit there and say that.
Did they tell you that if you ever renewed your interest that they would want at least you to come back or not?
That's kept a secret, man.
We won't get that out of you. You're going to be at an appearance Saturday morning, 10 to 11:30. Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. You're doing promotions with them. Boy, that beautiful Ram truck out front. My goodness.
Yeah.
Now let's discuss what's going to as a meet and greet, autographs. How did this come about?
Yeah. So we actually got a meet and greet that's going to be there, like you said, and we're going to have a lot of stuff, giveaways and everything there. I reached out to him and told him that, you know what I'm saying, like, I wanted to help in any kind of way, you know, and I wanted to just give back to Waco, you know, and me and Mr. T, we worked together real well, and we got it done, man, you know what I'm saying, and we talked about a lot of stuff, a lot of issues, and we got it done, you know what I'm saying, and now we doing a thing for Waco Saturday, and I want everybody to be there. It's going to be fun.
10 to 11:30, it's at the dealership on the Loop 340. Just east of 84 in Waco as well. Mark Vidal in studio with us.
Well, you are, I mean, you know, basketball to you is everything. Right. And so you grew up watching guys and you have your favorite players. When Charles Barkley or someone like that talks about you on air, and then I know you've talked to him and all that, what's that like to just, because somebody's got to feel a little bit out of the blue that, like, all of a sudden, like, Charles Barkley's talking about you and like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to this dude.
No, like, seriously, like, a lot of people. Okay, that's just like, all right, let me say it like this. Like, a lot of people love Michael Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. They analyze Michael Jordan. The guys I analyze are like Barkley and Rodman and Starks and people like that. So when I finally, like, I've been knowing him. I got his number and we text. Mm-hmm. When I finally sat there and talked to him in person, and I was like, dang, bro, we the same height. I'm like, what is, I was starstruck. I'm not even going to lie to you. If you ever see a picture of me and Barkley, I'm like cheesed up because I'm really like starstruck. I'm like, don't know what to say.
Yeah. John Starks makes a lot of sense that you would like. That's a guy after your own. Yeah. If you were not a Knicks fan in the '90s, you hated John Starks.
Yeah, I love him.
And you like that. I mean, if you were not a Baylor fan, people probably don't really like. They're oh, there's Vidal. He's brilliant.
They hate me.
And you like that. I mean, I saw the Joker memes. You
villain.
You like being the villain, right?
Yeah, I like what the Big 12 did to me this year and stuff like that. I really didn't pay no mind because I wanted to make it seem like it was an older thing. Like, oh, he been here long enough. He already got those achievements. So that's how I looked at it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, y'all just kicked my ass. Like, y'all just kicked my ass.
You were pissed, weren't you?
Yeah, I was pissed. I was real pissed. And so, like I said, man, like Stark and Rodman and them, man, them guys don't care. Barkley didn't care.
No.
I like being the most hated player in college.
Yeah. I mean, look, if
you were on a team that was
2-17, nobody would care, right?
Nobody would care, but since I was winning, I can talk all the trash I want. That's how Ali was. Ali could talk all the trash he want, he'll kick your ass.
Yeah, he would. He absolutely would. Mark Beidel again in studio. It's Saturday from 10 to 11:30 at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. He'll be there for a meet and greet, autographs as well. I saw this tweet from you earlier today, I think it was. You said you had your mind blown today because you realized that even though you were at Baylor what seemed like a decade, it was 5 years, that actually you played 3.5.
Right.
It seemed like you played for probably 6 or 8.
Yeah, it's crazy. It blew my mind because I was really thinking about it, and then this guy came up to me at the gym. He's like, man, you've been at Baylor 5 years, and you know how long you really played? And I really thought about it. I redshirted. I didn't play at all. I had to wait my turn my second year. And then when Tristan went down, I played more. And then my third year, and all that stuff played. Then the COVID year was a half a year. And then I just won a national championship for a full year. And really, if you really want to count that, because we had a lot of games off too, but I count this because we won a national championship. I only taking that. But that really blew my mind, bro. I was like, dang. And people think I played for a decade, but I really just been here, just chilling.
Did you enjoy the fact that once you guys came off the COVID pause, everybody thought that you had COVID had kind of beaten you guys, and whatever you had before it had left, whatever the little X factor had left, when it was really just you needed just a couple weeks to get back into what you were doing. Do you think somehow being the second-ranked team allowed you to sneak up out of the? I mean, nobody would think normally the second-ranked team could sneak up on anybody, but people kind of slept on you guys.
Man, you know how I looked at this whole situation and going back and look at it, I put a movie. This would be a good movie because we was tearing everybody up. Everybody, man, you're going to go undefeated. And the next thing you know, boom, COVID happened. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody, they're not going to be the same. We struggled a couple of games, we lost 2. And the next thing you know, we win a national championship. That's just like a Rocky. You remember? Rocky going through all the stuff. He lost, came back, and won everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it.
We're doing a documentary.
Yeah.
So you might be in that movie before it's all said and done.
Oh man, hey, it's gonna be hard to find somebody to play me that's gonna be running and jumping and.
No, you're gonna be a part. It's
like a documentary.
It's a documentary. Yeah, it's gonna be a documentary. So it'll be you talking about you and the team and whatever. Barbara Teague says hello, and she said she owes you chocolate chip cookies.
She watching right now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, hey, well I'll tell you, her cookies are the best.
You can't have them though right now, right?
Be quiet, you can't put that out. Hey,
that's your kryptonite, huh?
Yeah, well, just tell her this, to put it on, she's watching, so she'll put it in a box and put all green vegetables, and make sure nobody can see through the container. And I'll just sneak them in the room.
Should we send him to Boogie?
No. I'll come pick him up.
Yeah, she's been great. Is it kind of different because everyone's kind of dispersed in different directions?
Nah.
And they got their own era. Now they're on their new chapter to go.
Nah, man, we still stay in touch. Like Maceo's my brother. Davion's my brother. We all stay in touch. We still got our group messages. We still clown and text each other. You know what I'm saying? Even with some of the parents, Mama T, man, I went to her a couple of times and talked to her about advice. You know what I'm saying? She done gave me great advice. You know what I'm saying? And she's good in the Bible too. And we all close. And it's crazy because a lot of teams will win national championship and disperse, but not us. We still talk.
Was that kind of you guys' key though? Because you guys, when you came in, the culture had been kind of set with, Ish and Jake and King had kind of said this is kind of how we have to do it here, because they had started to believe that the program had kind of turned a corner, and you guys were the team that took it past just watching everyone do
I've been a part of all the teams. Yeah. I've been a part of all the team, and this team right here is what changed the whole culture, in my opinion. Because everybody's together.
Mark, the story, the movie, the documentary about this team, is it a dream? Do you feel like you've been in a dream?
Kinda. I mean, if you had to ask me a couple of years will I be a national champion, I'll tell you no. I'll be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I'll just go to college and play. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got their own backstory. If I say this, if they ever make a movie about us, like a Glory Road or something like that, if they get our backstories, I guarantee that movie will be #1 for a long time, because a lot of us got a lot of things that happened to us in the past, And we all, if you really think about it, we all role players that got together You know what I'm saying? Davion coming from Auburn, he was a role player. Maceo was doing his thing. But at the same time, we all came in, and it happened, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy.
When did you guys start feeling like you were national champ? Was it last year when you in the COVID year where you thought we got a little robbed here by this?
Yeah, man.
Then coming in, you knew
we're supposed to win it 2 times.
Yeah,
yeah, we're supposed to win it two years in a row. But like I said, man, like COVID happened. You know what I'm saying? Like it was due. It was past due.
Did it make it more sweet?
Yes. What made it more sweet is, and I love Gonzaga, nothing against Gonzaga, but what made it more sweet is when we canceled that game early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was talking about, well, Baylor's scared. Baylor don't want to play this and this and that. And then we finally played them at the end. That's how the story's supposed to go.
We were given a story of and I forgot what Coach Jacobs or someone, as they're being introduced during starting lineup, Davion Mitchell is standing out like a little bit separated from the bench. And he's like,
yeah.
What was going on right there?
All right, so as you know, I'm more of like a boxer, right? And me and Davion always had this mindset where we like to size guys up. And I got called before Davion, and I remember going out there and I'm just standing there, right? I'm standing and I'm rocking. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically in my Tyson mode, just rocking, staring at him, right? Next thing you know, I look to my left, Davion got his arm folded, and he just looking, but he's shaking his head. See, Davion never does that. So when Davion did that, I'm like, oh, it's over. It's
on.
It's over with. Davion got to rocking back and forth. I looked at that. I see Maceo normally back there trying to be pretty, right? Maceo back there with his. See, Coach Jacobs told you a little bit of everybody. And when Coach Drew was like, yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
And then you guys got all those quick boards, and you went nuts early along with it.
That probably was
Flo Thamba.
Yes, like
JTT.
Flo is the quiet one.
Yeah,
Flo is the quiet one. We in the huddle, right? This is gonna be funny. I wish Flo would see this. So we in the huddle, right? And right before the game, somebody say something. Flo never say anything. I'm looking at everybody's face. Everybody ready. Nobody really want to say nothing. I see a big hand come in like this with a fist. It's Flo. Flo said, because he don't talk, Flo said, let's kick their ass.
That's it?
That was it.
That's all I needed to say.
That was it. And then he went back, and I was like, oh, yeah, we about to go crazy. Because Flo said something? Oh, it's over with.
It's almost as if you guys were wound up, so not tight, but wound up with so much emotions, and it all exploded at the perfect time.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot built up. And, like, everybody wasn't playing. Like, I can say for myself, like, I wasn't playing well until that championship game. Like, I fouled out. I was fouling out. I was tripping, man. Like, I can say for myself, like, man, I don't know what's going on. If the refs don't like me, what it is. But Coach Tang, Coach Jacobs, and Coach Brooks told me the same thing. All this happening to you because at the end of the day, it's something good going to happen to you at the end. And he told it to everybody. In that game right there, everything was built up.
When you went over the bench on the other side. I mean, for a second, we're like, well, I mean, he's got broke his leg. I mean, how did he do that? But was that kind of like the whole thing of like, I don't care what's going on. We're tearing this sucker down.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I told Coach Drew before, Coach Drew, before the game, I said, man, they're going to have to carry me out. Because I would run through stuff, and Coach Drew know that. Coach Drew know that I would run through a wall for him. And I jumped off, and honestly, I thought they had something else on the other side. I can sit here and lie to y'all, but hey, I thought they had something else on the other side that's gonna catch me. But hey, at the end of the day, that's just how I play.
You brought up these coaches. What does it mean to do this with these coaches and for these coaches? Just how special and tight knit was this group, and the impact they've had on your life, obviously.
Man, it's the best teachers I ever had in basketball. I mean, it don't get no better than that unless the NBA got something better than this, because every coach has something different to say, and it worked out. You know what I'm saying? And those are the most positive guys. You know what I'm saying? They get in you and all that because they love you. It's part of their job. But I never been around a staff where they put you in a position to win all the time in life, not just basketball, life. Like, you know what I'm saying? With God and everything, we got chapels and everything. And Coach Drew needed this. Not needed, but it was past due. It was time for him. And I told Coach Drew before I came to Baylor that one of these, I want to get you a national championship. You know what I'm saying? I might not have been the lead scorer or whatever, but we gonna figure out a way. And being a piece of that, man, that took the cake for me.
This is from Kimberly Brent.
Mark, you are defining a new statistic of successful, educated black men who are role models for younger generations. Continue your path of being a good man, loving father, setting the standard for your children, representing Baylor. We love you and are excited, so excited about what you've accomplished as a student and as an athlete. Blessings for your continued success in life from Kim in Dallas.
Man, that's deep. I want to say thank you for that. That's deep, man.
Mark, when you are, I mean, because everyone goes through dark times. I know that this year was, I mean, you've kind of talked about it a little bit about going through it, you know, emotionally at points during the season. When you have a staff that is so unbelievably positive,
right?
Is that one of those things that's kind of a faith thing, a God thing of, well, I mean, these guys are here because, like, I'm going through it right now, and I need to see someone who is smiling all the time.
Right.
I mean, they're happy all the time, and nothing is ever seems like it's too big for them.
No, like I said, I'm open about it. Like, I was dealing with depression and anxiety at one point, and that's still kind of. But when you got a group of guys like Coach Drew and them that would never ever let you be down, it's life changing, bro. Because they never let you have a sad day. Like, they know you have your emotions, and they'll let you go through them. But at the same time, they'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And Coach Drew's so positive. I don't know if it's the coffee. I don't know if it's the espresso shots, what it is, but he always happy. So you got to be happy. You got to match his energy. So
10 to 11:30, there's an image. It's on your timeline as well, presented by Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Waco, national champion Mark Beidel. Meet and greet. Join us at the dealership. That's this Saturday, 10 to 11:30. Meet and greet, autographs, and giveaways.
Mark, you brought up earlier about giving back to Waco. Lake Charles is obviously your home, will always be home, but how much of a home has Waco become, and how much has the community meant to you?
Man, it's a lot, because a lot of the times I've been here for a while, since my junior year in high school, coming back and forth when Isaiah and them was here. So I've always been familiar with Waco, you know what I'm saying? And the people here loves me. I love them, you know what I'm saying? And from the kids that's, you know, where I come from the projects and everything, to the people that's rich or whatever, it don't matter. I don't see that. I just see that everybody supported each other and love each other, you know what I'm saying? And like Lake Charles right now, we're going through a tough time because of floodings and storms and everything. And, you know, we're going through a lot right now, but we got a strong city. So I want to give back to Waco, you know what I'm saying? And then I want to do something for Lake Charles too. Might do something for the kids back there too soon, once everything's straightened out.
You know, when we had you on, this was, about the time right after you had signed with the agency. Mm-hmm. You were probably, I think we even said, you sounded as clear-minded as ever before.
Right.
And now it's been 3 or 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, whatever, and it seems like you're now at another level of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was always one of those guys that, you know, was wise in a way, because I always tried to, you know, stay engaged. But I was a mute when I first got here. I didn't say not a word. I just played hard. I didn't say a word, and Coach Drew got that out of me. And I'm telling you, it's because of Coach Drew I'm the way I am now. Like, he let me be myself, but he also grew me as a man. And he let me have a freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out just fine. And I'm always reading and doing different things. And I just study. I like to just study people and everything. And I know what people go through. And I've been through it all. So anything that somebody been through, I done been through it all. So.
What would it mean to you Saturday morning if you have a line of people waiting?
That would mean a lot, because, man, that mean that I touched a lot of people, and that's what I really wanted to do. Not only as a national champion, but I always wanted to touch somebody as a person. You know what I'm saying? I don't even care if you want an autograph. If you just show up and want to talk, I mean, I'm one of those guys that like to do that too. So that's how I just want to touch people and show love.
When you talk to young basketball players now, given, like, if they watch you play, they're not going to see. I mean, they're not going to see you hitting 8 threes in a game. They're going to see that you can be a basketball player that's important but not by just doing what you can do. Mm-hmm. Is that also what helped you kind of grow as a person, that you didn't have to change who you were as a basketball player? Like, they found, like, this is what you do, and we're going to do it well.
Yeah, right, man. Like I tell a lot of basketball players that. You might not be a star on your team. You might be a star, you might not. Like, to get to the next level, you might have to make a lot of sacrifices. Like, for me, I was a great scorer in high school. Like I said, I was dunking, I was doing all that. And then got to college, Coach Drew and them, you know, helped me with my role. And my role was just rebounding, playing defense, doing different stuff. You know what I'm saying? And You might just have to do that to win games. I mean, you're going to have a time and place to show all that, and that's basically going to be on the level we're at now. I'm training for, like, the draft. But do whatever to take your team to win. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going to see it's more to just the scoring to be a basketball player. I mean, it's defense, rebounding. You might have to be a good teammate on the bench and wave your towel. You might have to give them water. It's different stuff that play a part. A lot of NBA guys that's in the league right now got drafted just because of their personality. They might not be good at all, but because they got good personality, well, we need them on the team because if somebody feeling down on the locker room, we need somebody to pick them up. You know, you don't want all LeBrons on your team. It's not going to work.
How much are you watching the playoffs right now?
I'm watching all of them.
Yeah. What is Mavs are scorching Knicks? Okay.
Knicks.
The MSG vibes?
Knicks and Nets.
Yeah. Nets, okay.
Yeah, so that's my teams.
Gotcha.
You know, when I was younger, they were really good. And I mean, they were really good. And
like I said, I watched all those old tapes, man. I'll go back and watch the Hardwood Classics. And them Pistons, boy, it was cold back in the day.
Yeah.
The Pistons were something.
They had a few Mark Vital.
Yeah, a few of them. I just wanted.
You'd have liked that vibe there.
Yeah,
Mark.
I like that.
No, you would have played in that decade like no big
I always
deal.
said if that basketball was like the way it is now, man, I'll be tearing some people up.
Hey, look, the Pat Riley Knicks, the ones with John
That's
Starks.
my favorite coach.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Jim,
man, like they, you know, God, they had that fight with the Heat with Alonzo Mourning. I mean, they would start some stuff, and none of they didn't have. Which is weird. Like if you did in that city, sometimes the guys who are probably like Derek Jeter, like the cool looking dude, looks happy a lot of the time. They didn't smile for anything.
No,
I mean they were just locked in, and honestly, sometimes it was like you're playing the Monstars from Space Jam. Like they were just mad.
Man, it was crazy back in the day, man. Like I love Pat Riley. Like I always said, man, Pat Riley was still a coach. I would try to go. I would love to play for him because man, he loves that style of play. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got a lot of coaches that like that style of play in the NBA, but Pat Riley still breed on the Heat. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying? He's strict on that, and I just like that little dog play.
You came down to Waco. You'll be there Saturday morning. Mark Vital, national champion. And I call him All-American because as far as I'm concerned, he is. And in many ways, of what he does, what he represents, and how he's played the game as well. Good luck, man. It's great to be in studio. What did Baylor, in the end, what did the Baylor fan base, what did Baylor mean to Mark Vital?
They gave me a first start, if that makes sense. The fan base and everything gave me a first start. They showed me a lot of love, a lot of support, how to love, how to support. They had some of them that didn't agree with you, but we had a lot more that did. You know what I'm saying? And all I can say to them is thank you, man. Y'all gave me a fresh start, in life and everything, man. And now that I got it, man, did you see the video when I got my degree?
Yes.
How many people were there screaming? That's when I realized, dang, they really support. And, a lot of people was, out there screaming. So that changed everything for me.
Well, we have Barbara Teague, who watches on occasion, and she's sitting there, and then Kimberly Brandt from Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just part of.
Yeah, this is part of it. Like I said, man, I build a lot of relationships here. And hopefully, later on down the line, I might have to come out here and make a spot out here.
Hey, we'll be here. Yeah. We'll be here. Yeah. It's great to have you in the studio. It's so much fun. Great to see your face, man. It really is.
Appreciate it.
Mark Vital, national champion, Saturday 10 to 11:30 at Allen Samuels on Loop 340 and east of 84. Mark will be there. Ted Teague and his staff will be there as well. Thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
So happy to have you. And look at that truck he's driving. It's pretty amazing out in front of our building. Back in a moment, Jason Jennings will join us. This is SicEm365 Radio. Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends. You will be there hopefully Saturday morning. And oh, by the way, they're looking for someone to be a part of their service department. So if you want to drop by the dealership, yes, they have all the cars, the trucks, and SUVs you want, but also now looking for those who will work for them in their award-winning service department. Go by and see what they have when it comes to the Ram trucks. Back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year, discounts, dealership discounts, and also great financing, 0% for sometimes as many as 84 months on not just Ram, but also the Jeep and also on Chrysler. It's Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Jason Jennings, All-American at Baylor, played in baseball in the major leagues, Rockies, Astros, and Rangers. He joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Jason, thanks for being patient. Mark Vidal just stopped by, you can imagine, in the studio. And what did Baylor's men's basketball run mean to you?
Oh man, I was all in. You know what it meant to me is, you know, obviously the national championship is one thing, but how they did it, the way they, in my opinion, they played together, they fought for each other. There was no selfishness at all. It's almost like they'd rather have an assist than a 2-point basket or a 3-point basket. So just the vibe I got from that team, not knowing any of them personally, not being around them, ever, but just as a fan, and obviously as a Baylor fan, more intrigued. But, I just was super impressed with the team vibe I got from that group.
Jason, when I heard we were going to have you on today, and we're going to talk about several issues, but the first thing I thought of was you were a pitcher who could hit, and you hit really well when you were in college. But does it even blow your mind what Ohtani is doing in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a one in once in a generation, one in a million type guy. He's obviously a freak athlete, but to be able to throw it 100, and these days you got to be able to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. The way these guys are throwing, he's fun to watch, and he seems like from the outside seems like a good dude, and just a great addition to the game of baseball.
Jason, what do you think of the current style of play? It seems a bit feast or famine. Guys are either going deep or they're striking out. I mean, there's not really an in-between right now in baseball. Is that something you've taken notice of, and just where do you kind of see the game right now?
Oh, goodness. That question could get me in trouble. Yeah, I mean, I was never – on any team I ever played for, including Baylor, I was never the hardest thrower on any team, so I had to pitch. I had to try to miss as many barrels as possible, change speeds, work hitters, and it just, from an outsider looking in, as far as a pitcher goes, it seems like that's a lost art. It's like, how hard can you throw? How hard can you throw until you need surgery? And we don't care if you can pitch. We don't care if you can change speeds. And I hate that. I think from a hitter's side, in my opinion, me personally, I used to be embarrassed when I struck out. I hated it. And it just doesn't seem like it's embarrassing anymore. It seems like nobody cares. Oh, I'll go 1 for 4 with a bomb and 3 punch outs, and that's a good day. Well, back in the day and how I grew up, how I was raised, how I played the game, that was not okay. It's great you hit a bomb, but, a 250 average was never good enough for me. But that's crap. That's above the big league average at this point. And, I hate to sound like the old fuddy-duddy, and, I don't want to be that guy, because there's, the athletes and the ball players now that I'm watching on TV, they're freaks. They're way more advanced than I think we were physically back in the day. And so they are fun to watch from that, that aspect. But there's some aspects of the game that have kind of disappeared.
How about the young players? There's some young stars in baseball now, and when they do go deep, they absolutely let you know it and celebrate it. How would Jason Jennings handle that?
A fastball to the ribs next time they were up. That's a touchy one as well. I'm all for, advancing the game, and I'm coaching youth kids, and you see it even at our level. There's a little bit more showmanship, but it's that way across the board. I think NBA, NFL, MLB, even golf, you see some more, some flashy personalities out there now. So, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't know about taking a selfie down the first base line. That perhaps is crossing the line for me, but a little bit of excitement, a little bit of fun. You never know when your last game is going to be, so I'm all for enjoying it. Especially now being on the outside looking in, enjoy it while you can, because it doesn't last long. But I think, unfortunately, an aspect of the game that perhaps has disappeared is being able to police ourselves. If there needs to be a fastball in the ribs back in the day, then there was a fastball in the ribs. And now it's like, you can't say anything. You can't, it's just, that was part of the game, and that's right or wrong. There's different opinions on that, but it's just the way that the game was when I played and how I grew up, and that has disappeared as well.
And even in that, it seems to me like people don't realize that, while there might be some rivalry throughout your career with a guy, you had to put a fastball in his ribs or whatever. I'm sure there's plenty of cases where that's happened, where you wind up on the same team with a guy through free agency or trade or whatever, and then it's over. It was in that moment, and that was it. That was it, because that's the law of baseball, so to speak.
Yeah, and an old school guy that I see as an old school type player is Nolan Arenado. So I think it was perhaps 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know, there was something going back and forth. Maybe it was the Reds they were playing, and he got drilled. But the thing is, he knew why he got drilled. He probably knew it was coming. He didn't charge the mound. He didn't say. He just put his bat down and ran down to first base. And I think the guys that know the game well enough, and they know almost why they're going to get hit, and when they're going to get hit, and they probably know they deserve it, or somebody on their team deserves it. They just happen to be if there's 2 outs and nobody on base, well, whoever's the 3-hole that inning is probably going to get drilled. That's just because you're not going to do it with 2 guys on base or the bases loaded. And there's sadly, there's a craft, there's an art to it, there's a way to do it. But I think there's a way for it to be done. And like a good instance was Nolan the other day. He knew it was coming. It was kind of going back and forth, and I think that kind of ended it. Honestly, there's a way to police ourselves, and whether the umpires have taken it upon themselves or MLB has told the umpires to put a stop to all that stuff. I don't know. It just causes almost more confusion. I think back in the day, you could just hit somebody, they hit you back, and it's done. There's no brawl. There's no, post-game interviews. It is what it is.
Jason, MLB has tinkered with their rules over the last couple of years, trying to speed up the game, trying to garner, younger interest, do all those things. Obviously the 7-inning doubleheaders, runner starting on second and extra innings. What have you made of some of the tweaks they've tried to make? Are there some you like, some you don't? Where do you kind of sit with that?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I don't mind the 7-inning doubleheaders. Actually, we have a group of big league guys that hit at my facility up here in Frisco in the off season, and I've kind of talked with them about some of this new stuff, and they don't mind it at all. Losing a game just like a 9-year-old would in extra innings with a guy on second base, it's California tiebreaker or whatever. I don't know about that with the best players in the world. I kind of just, maybe if you get to the 12th inning, all right, then you institute that, or the third, at least give them a couple innings extra to play it out. Play it out normal, and then, nobody wants to play an 18-inning game. I've been part of a 22-inning game, 18-inning game. It's ridiculous. So at some point, maybe change it up to get the game over somehow, some way. But the doubleheaders, I think that's a nice little change. Perhaps it gives the guys another extra off day to rest their bodies and travel. And so, I don't mind that one at all. But the extra innings rule is kind of squirrely to me.
Yeah, because we had Arthur Rhodes on yesterday, and he said the first thing you probably do is walk the next hitter to force a run. I mean, force to set up a force out. And he's like, that's like almost you're giving up, but that's the best thing to do, right?
Absolutely. And if you get 2-0 on the next guy and he's a bomber, I mean, you almost put him on base, loads bases. Now you got to force it every out, or at every base. So, that's a good point by Arthur. I'm sure he has some good opinions on this stuff too. He's about 3 times as old school as I am, and I know he'd drill somebody in the ribs if he needs to.
Oh yeah, he said as much. Pretty much. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Say he just mentioned. He didn't just mention the ribs either. By the way.
Oh, okay. A little bit higher.
Yeah.
He said it first. He would buzz the tower for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
He wouldn't hit the tower, but he'd buzz it. He was gonna buzz it.
Yeah. That's my kind of guy.
When was the last time you threw a no-hitter? And I probably should know this. When was the last time you threw one?
A no-hitter?
Yep.
Gosh, I don't know. It probably was little. I mean, I know I didn't have one in pro ball. I know I didn't have one in college. Crap, I don't even know if I had one in high school. I may have in high school. But, I just never – I could pitch. I mean, I feel like I could pitch, but I never had, Jacob DeGrom stuff.
Right.
I mean, Ohtani type stuff where you're just like, it's just stupid. Like, nobody can make contact. That was never me. I had some swing and miss. I had a swing and miss slider that I used a lot, obviously, but I don't know that I really had the stuff. I had a couple no-hitters. I took one pretty deep in a game in San Fran. I took one deep in Pittsburgh one day, like into the 7th inning. But I know Barry Bonds broke up one of them, and then I don't remember how it got broken up in Pittsburgh. But so I had a couple chances, but man, that's hard to do. It's hard to take it, hard to cross the finish line.
It's crazy how they're throwing them out. But again, it's feast or famine, as we mentioned off the top of the show.
Hey, Jason.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Jacob DeGrom, you mentioned him. He comes back after being out for injury, K's 9 in his return. I mean, you kind of commented there, but, just how ridiculous is this guy? And as a former pitcher, when you're watching him, what are you watching? What are you seeing?
He's kind of one of the rare guys that can throw 100 and pitch. He can – he works zones. He moves the ball in and out. He changes speeds. Granted, his changeup is probably 92, but it's all relative. That is a changeup to him, and but he just what I see is he repeats his delivery. His mechanics are clean. He's very consistent. He rarely misses badly. So some of these guys you see throw 100, you're like, you don't know if it's going to be on the black or if it's going to hit you in the face. So he's not that type pitcher. I mean, and same with Ohtani. I mean, just real clean delivery, not max effort. That shows me that they really have a good grasp of what they're doing out there.
Jason, Baylor was beaten today by Texas Tech. They play Kansas State because TCU just beat Kansas State. They're on the bubble, no question. They need a win pretty badly. Your thoughts about where they are? I know that they struggled down the stretch, but they have to. I would think even a win against Kansas State may not be enough. Your thoughts about where Baylor is?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I mean, that's it's a bloodbath every weekend. It seems like Big 12. Even your lower end teams in the conference, they're still good baseball teams, and they still can beat you. And so, I mean, they've had a respectable season, no doubt. But it's, with so many good teams in Big 12, so many good teams, in your SEC conference, you got to be a little bit better than good to get in that tournament. So, I'd love to see them obviously scratch out a win. Probably, like you said, too, make a good showing in the tournament. And once you get a seat at the table, once you get into a regional, I mean, crap, anything can happen. You just got to get hot at the right time, but we just got to get them there.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you being patient. And, man, it's great to listen to you, to talk about and discuss what baseball's like today and all the things you went through as well. Appreciate your time. Good luck with that team you're coaching and all the young men that are kind of you're teaching how to pitch the way it was at some point in life. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Jason Jennings, Baylor All-American. He could both pitch and hit. My goodness, he was fantastic, and also pitched in the major leagues for quite some time, including the Astros and the Rangers.
Jacob deGrom's freaking ridiculous. Yeah. Like, he's unbelievable, and Ohtani is too. I mean, Ohtani being the dual threat that he is incredible. I mean, both of them are. I mean, if you don't even like baseball, I'd still tune in. I encourage people who don't even like baseball to still watch a Jacob deGrom start. Watch Shohei Ohtani. Watch a start of his, or watch him at the plate. Special players for sure. And there's a lot of other good ones in baseball right now, but those are two that absolutely immediately come to mind.
By the way, I want to thank our newest sponsor is the City of Woodway. We appreciate them as being a part of SicEm365 Radio. We'll jump on with them at the first part of June, which, of course, hard to believe, but it is early next week. When we come back, John Machota with TheAthletic.com. The Cowboys have wrapped up their OTAs. And then also today, we'll continue all the way until 6 o'clock. And if you missed Mark Vidal in studio, it's up on all the various medium outlets, whatever we put up for you to watch it. He was in studio, and yet again, he was fantastic. This is SicEm365 Radio. IdealMRI.com can help you save hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars if you need an MRI because something, a muscle or a ligament hurts like badly. It's like something is wrong where you can't function, you can't sleep, you can't concentrate, or all of the above, which can't function means all of that, right? Something hurts and your orthopedic surgeon says we need to get an MRI to look a little bit deeper at what hurts your shoulder so bad, what hurts your knee so bad, or hurts something else. Maybe it's somewhere else in your body and it just is different than maybe taking a couple of Advil or an Aleve or something else. Ideal MRI, on average, an MRI can cost $1,100 each time, $1,100 on average. It's $497 or less every single time at Ideal MRI in the Central Texas Marketplace off I-35 and 340 in Waco. $497 or less every time. And they'll even help you with your insurance as well along the way. So save a ton of money, hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars, and also get the answer to why you hurt so badly. So when your orthopedic or any doctor tells you that you need an MRI, you tell them. How about IdealMRI.com?
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com.
U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John Machota of The Athletic, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
Prescott going end zone. It's caught for the touchdown. Dalton Schultz.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments, with financial advisor Brad Wilson. Investing is time and experience back to you and your money during today's changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
5 o'clock hour. John Machota, theathletic.com, covering the Cowboys and OTAs, and it's just great that the fact that they're going on. And John, how much did you miss this last year?
I missed it a lot just because it gives me something to do. When your whole life is basically turned into just covering the Dallas Cowboys, you look forward to these types of little glimpses, even though, they're not, it's not real practice. It's a lot of like walkthrough stuff and just kind of getting tempo down and things like that. But anytime you have a major injury to a key player like that, and it's the first time you get to see them, it's pretty big.
Who were some of the guys that kind of surprised you and stuck out to you in the first day of OTAs?
Well, for one, I will say Dak Prescott, just because I guess the best way to describe it would be, all eyes were on him, at least for the, first 20, 30 minutes, because the first time we got to see him do anything. And I'll just say this, I don't think, if you didn't know he had suffered any type of leg injury, you wouldn't have known it from watching him. It wasn't like he was favoring his right leg. It wasn't like there was any limping. It wasn't like they were like just keeping him kind of stationary or anything. No, he was moving around. He was throwing on the run, throwing from the pocket. The only thing that I think that they want to keep him away from is like an accidental like guy falling and rolling into his ankle. If they're doing full team drills, so he wasn't in team drills because of that. You don't just want to, on an accident, a guy trips, falls back into him like an offensive lineman, and you just don't want to put any extra wear and tear on that ankle until it absolutely needs to happen, which is going to be once training camp starts. And so he was definitely one, and everything looked pretty good there. Another guy I would say, and again, it's because of the injury, is DeMonte KZ coming over from the Falcons. I just playing that safety position, coming off an Achilles tear last October. You just really don't know if that guy's even going to really be out there until training camp. And not only was he out there, but he was working with the ones and was moving around pretty well. So that's obviously a great sign because he's just playing a position that obviously there isn't a lot of depth there, and it's been a huge need position for the Cowboys for a long time. So if everything stays on track with him and he doesn't suffer any setbacks with that Achilles, then he's a guy that should be their starting free safety. So I would say he kind of stood out. That would probably be the biggest one, just because of the injured guys. Like that's the main thing that I was looking for, is just kind of how would they be mixing and matching and things like that. There's several guys that didn't participate, like DeMarcus Lawrence and Zach Martin, Ezekiel Elliott, guys that they're trying to bring along slowly, whether they're dealing with a nagging injury or just give them an off day. So I would say the KZ and Dak are the top two for me.
So, obviously, John, Jalen Smith's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The fan base, at least, has expectations for him. I know you got a chance to talk to him about the kind of revamped linebacker group. What were his thoughts on the new faces, new names that are a part of that linebacking core?
Well, he said he was all for it, and that, Micah Parsons is like a little brother for him, and he knows that there's going to be competition, that is with the NFL, and obviously they lose Sean Lee, but I find it hard to believe that he was jumping up and down and cheering on draft night when the Cowboys ended up taking Parsons at 12. That's just not a great sign if you're a linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, that they're using their first-round pick, especially when you're a young linebacker that just got a new contract a couple years ago. So, things could work out fine, and Jalen Smith and Micah Parsons could end up being the Cowboys' two starting linebackers from now and through the next 5-6 years. Who knows? But coming off of the way that the linebackers for the Cowboys have played the last 2 years, I don't think anybody in that room should just be confident that they got a job locked up and that they're going to be here for the next 5 or 6 years. There's competition in there now. And then the fact that Keanu Neal, Keanu Neal he was a safety at Florida. He was a safety the last 5 years with the Falcons. He's not a safety with the Cowboys. He's listed as a safety on their depth chart. But watching all of the OTA session yesterday, he was weak side linebacker the entire time. He was working with the linebackers, talking to him after. He said he had weighed about 217 while he was playing safety. He's going to get up to about a little over 222, 225, somewhere in that range. He's a linebacker now, so you add him into the mix. And then there's Jabril Cox they took in the 4th round. I think he's a guy that could get on the field, and then you mix in with Leighton Vander Esch. There's a lot of competition there. So Jalen said all the right things. I don't know if necessarily he, feels that way behind the scenes. There's a lot of competition there.
Speaking of him, he's a lightning rod, obviously polarizing at times, but so he changes to number 9. And my question is not about him going, he wore 54. Chuck Howley and Randy White were pretty good. But what is it about Tony Romo's number 9 that is so sacred? And when did he walk on water during his Cowboys career? Because I must have forgotten that.
Oh, I think it was the Super Bowl that they won. I don't know. I think it's, it is an interesting thing that there's just always been a love for Tony Romo with Cowboys fans, and it's obviously carried over until now with him in his broadcast career. And they're just, certain guys more than others become, beloved by the fan base. And the other thing that helps Tony, I believe, is that although, there were ups and downs and he had some really good years and they didn't have the postseason success, but, he put up big numbers and things like that. I think there's a lot of fans that put his shortcomings kind of on Jerry Jones doesn't know what he's doing, and they kind of blame Jerry, and Jerry even feeds into it, multiple times. Jerry has said, I'm sure he's told you guys that, one of his biggest regrets is not getting the Super Bowl with Romo, just not putting a better team around him and things like that. So he's always been beloved by the Cowboys fan base, and he probably always will be. And so that's part of it. And then the other thing is that the player that's moving into that number, I think that, Jalen Smith, it's no secret. If you go on Twitter, it's pretty clear how fans feel about him. They're not a fan of him doing the swiping celebration after a tackle that gained 6-7 yards, or maybe even it's a tackle at the line of scrimmage, but the team's down by 4 touchdowns. They're not. It just seems like there's a lack of awareness there at times that fans really don't appreciate. And I mean, Cowboys fans are pretty diehard. They watch a lot of the Cowboys games, and this isn't like this is a one-off thing. They've seen it for several years now. And then so the fact that this is going to be the guy that then wants to take it, I think that bothers some fans. I don't know why. It's up to him. My only take on all of it was just that, if that ESPN report is correct, that it's almost $500,000 he's going to have to pay for all the back jerseys and T-shirts and such with the number 54 on it. I don't understand. I don't know that that's a great investment for him, but it's his decision. He can do what he wants. I don't know. I'm definitely not young, but I guess from a younger perspective, to be honest with you, with the visor and then the single-digit number 9, I kind of thought he looked kind of like a badass yesterday at practice with it. It's kind of a cool number. It's what he wore at Notre Dame. That's where he played his best ball. So, I don't see an issue with it.
Look, if he's going to pay $500,000, and look, it may not be a great business decision, but if he wants to wear number 9 with the Cowboys, this might be his last shot to do that. There's no guarantee he's on the team next year where he could have done it for free.
Well, he can do it with his next team. What are you saying, Paul? He's not going to be in the league. He can wear 9 with whatever team he is with next.
No, I'm just saying
that's
if he
probably
wants
part of it. You're probably right. That's probably part of it. It's like I better take advantage of this now.
If he wants a 9 Smith Cowboys jersey, now is the time. I mean, there's no guarantee that the number 9 he gets for the next team. I mean, it's the next team's on the Cowboys, so he probably is trying to cash in on that a little bit. The other thing, I want to go back to Romo for a second, the way he's kind of romanticized. To me, I think a fair comparison would be the way that Dale Murphy is revered in Atlanta, and that he was the best Braves player on the teams that never went to the playoffs, but he's still, again, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's going to get free beer for life in the city of Atlanta. Tony Romo's kind of there, and maybe a little bit above, but kind of there for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's a fair comparison. I don't know. I've covered most of Romo's career, and I just there's always been, I don't know. He's kind of in a way to me a lot like Dak, where he's unless Dak wins a Super Bowl, he's going to be a lightning rod type player for even within his own fan base, and the fact that there's people that are going to say that he's not good enough. And they're going to point to the negatives, and then he's going to have the diehard fans that tell the other side that you're idiots, you don't know anything about football. He does all these things positive, and it's kind of ironic that those two guys went back to back and followed each other on this team, playing one of the most, if not the most, biggest spotlight positions in all sports, being the Cowboys quarterback. But it is interesting that Romo, the fans are still like that. Forget the number thing, just how often people will talk about anytime that an old, player has some success, about how Tony Romo could come back and play, even though he hasn't, picked up a football in years. And it just, I think romanticizing, I think that was the right word that you used. I think that fits it perfectly. I just, fans are going to do, and like what they like. And it is kind of interesting because, if he was the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, because I've always compared Tony to Matthew Stafford in a way, I can understand it because that's about as good as it gets. But when you're the quarterback for the Cowboys, I've just always viewed it as you got to win Super Bowls to be remembered at that top of the level.
Well, yeah, because the standard has been set. You're exactly right. It is all about the rings, and that doesn't mean Meredith's not beloved or Craig Morton had a good run and Romo, whatever. But yeah, when you talk about Aikman and Staubach and what they do, and then Dak knows that too, right? If Dak is good but never really great, then he's got to face that wrath a little bit.
Yeah, no question, especially now with the contract too on top of that. There's while it's great to be Dak Prescott, when you see that Forbes article come out that he's, one of the top 5 highest paid athletes in the world in this past year, that's great for you. And just with what he does off the field, I think he's going to do a lot of good with a lot of that money, just the way he invested in his charity work. But that number is just attached to him, and being the highest paid Cowboy of all time, even if he didn't play quarterback, he was going to have the spotlight on him. And then so now, coming back from this injury, it's going to be, it's like the spotlight's already on you because you're the Cowboys quarterback, whether you're good or not. But then when you become the highest paid player in franchise history, second highest paid player in the league, behind Patrick Mahomes, it takes things, to another level. And I would say the expectations for Dak are on the same level as they were for Romo, if not probably higher.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Good to see football being practiced, right? It's just practice, but it's OTAs, and I know it's just what it is, the underwear Olympics, as Paul, you mentioned, kind of like the combine, but it's at least a team together. And it was great to see Dak out there and going through some of what they could do. It was great to see Joe Burrow bouncing back from a pretty bad injury, being able to do what he was able to do as well, and happy for all of them. It's just back to normal in so many ways. Not all the way, but very close. Soccer, by the way, Baylor soccer added Georgetown transfer Alyssa Navarrete to its roster for 2021, played in 18 matches. In fact, I think is she a goalie? Is that right? Between the pipes for Georgetown, 13 starts, 12 saves, led the country in goals against average at .25. When we come back, Baylor baseball lost 11-4. TCU beat Kansas State 7-6. Baylor plays K-State tomorrow morning, the elimination game in the morning. When we come back, we'll also continue what we do. And Scott Lucas, who follows minor league baseball system for the Rangers and the upcoming Major League Baseball amateur draft, he'll join us next on SicEm365 Radio. PettyClinicLowT.com. What do? They help you become the high-performance man that you want to be, that you need to be, that maybe you used to be. As you get older, 1 out of every 3 men have symptomatic issues when it comes to low testosterone. What does lower testosterone do to your body? Few things. 1, it could affect how you sleep. It also could affect, for sure, your energy. And along with that, could even affect your sex drive. And so why not find that out? If any of those 3 things are a part of what you're dealing with, maybe just 1 and maybe not at all, Dr. Kent Petty, contact them. Go to the website, PettyClinicLowT.com. Top left-hand corner, there's a number, there's an email address, and you can tell them I sent you. And then what you can tell them is, hey, I'm not sure, but maybe I need my testosterone levels checked. Dr. Petty will set you up to get your lab work, your blood work. He will look at the numbers, and if your testosterone level is too low, put you in a program to help you become the high-performance man you want to be, whatever symptom right now is bothering you or not going full throttle. PettyClinicLowT.com.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
Alan Samuels is holding the Memorial Day sales event on the new 2021 Ram Lone Star Crew Cab trucks at Alan Samuels. The 3-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year is built to serve. Right now, get total values up to $6,750 or 0% for 72 months. Great opportunities during the Memorial Day sales event at Alan Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco. Come see the Ram Lone Star Crew Cab. The big Memorial Day sales event won't last long. Visit Alan Samuels today or online at AlanSamuelsDCJ.com.
Come by, let's be friends.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
All right. What a day it's been, huh? Lots of different guests, different angles of what is going on, including Chuck Cooperstein on the Mavericks. 2-0 lead over the Clippers. Mark Beidel in studio. Jason Jennings, former Baylor All-American. John Machota on the Cowboys. And how about Adrian Boitan joining us, who's now in the semifinals in men's singles in tennis at the national tournament in Orlando. Scott Lucas, Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball Newberg Report. If I want to know something about the minor league system, I always try to get a hold of Scott, and he's on with us today. The baseball draft coming up around the corner, and he joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Scott, the Rangers, let's start with them. At the Major League level, they're a fun team to watch. How many of who they have, and I don't know how sustainable it is, they may end up with a 62-100 record, I don't know. How many of who is right now contributing is part of their system that came through the minor league system?
That came through the minor league system?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot.
I didn't think so.
Most of the guys who are really helping out the team right now, they got in trades. The guy who's helped out the most, who came up through the system, is their shortstop, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who I believe was a 5th-round pick and wasn't on anybody's top 30 prospect list ever. But he just kept improving, and it's kind of a cliche, but he has more drive in him than just about anybody I've ever seen, and has turned himself into an honestly above-average baseball player. Catcher Jose Trevino is homegrown. But most of the other guys, certainly on the offensive side, Nate Lowe was a trade from last year. Solak they traded for 2 years ago. Adolis Garcia, who's been about as good as anybody in baseball this year, they got him from the Cardinals for cash a couple of years ago, and it was kind of a Nelson Cruz situation where he didn't really do anything, and they kicked him off the 40-man roster, and he kind of beat his way back on. And he's having an amazing year so far.
Scott, with the draft coming up, what do you think the best scenario for the Rangers is to fall them at number? I mean, I say fall. They're at number 2, but of that second pick, what's the best scenario for them going forward?
If you had asked me that question a month ago, the answer was really easy. If the Pirates had picked high school shortstop Jordan Lawler, the Rangers would pick bandy righty Leiter, and if the Bucks pick Leiter, the Rangers would pick Lawler. It was really that simple. Over the past few weeks, it's gotten a lot more complicated. Leiter was scratched from a start late and missed the next one, and there's a little bit of question about his durability. Kumar Rocker, who going into the season was probably the number 1 guy, he's another Vandy pitcher. He's had kind of a weird year. His velocity's fallen off quite a bit. He's in the mocks I've seen, he's down around the 7 or 8 spot now. And there's another high school shortstop named Marcelo Mayer, who right now, at least Baseball America says he'll be the Rangers pick. So it's kind of a mess. The Rangers the last 2 years have taken college bats. There is a catcher at Louisville named Henry Davis who is on the radar, but I don't know if they want to go that route. There's a college bat good enough. It's kind of looking right now that they're going to pick a high school shortstop, but as to who it's going to be, I'm not sure yet.
Scott, what do you think of the Rangers farm system as a whole? I know they, had built up a pretty good farm system a few years ago, chasing championships, kind of unloaded a lot of those pieces to make grabs to try to put them over the top, and have had to kind of reorganize. What would you say is the state of the Rangers farm system at this time?
I think it's improved. I don't think it's a top 10 system, but I don't think it's in the bottom 10 either. It's not a system that has a whole bunch of guys who you would ever consider being stars, but they've got a ton of depth. And the idea with that is hopefully a handful of those guys can break out. One bit of good news is in some of the past conversations we've had, feeling like all the prospects were way down at the lower levels. This year, that's not the case. Their AA team in Frisco seems to have the most prospects right now. One of them is Cole Winn, who was a high school pitcher they picked 3 years ago. I saw him in person in San Antonio last week, and unlike a lot of the guys who they brought up and have you're trying to find out whether they can become a starting pitcher. He, to me, looks like he really is an honest-to-goodness starting pitcher, and it's just a question of how good he'll be in that role. Another guy would be actually Davis Wenzel, who went to Baylor and was their second pick in the 2019 draft. He's in AA, and he's off to a really good start, too.
Do you trust their minor league system, and does Chris Young have any impact on how that's run now?
I think we're still trying to find that out. I feel like in the long run, it seems like Young is going to have a greater hand in the decision making. How much of a role he's playing right now, I'm really not sure. I think that's something where some of the beat writers and opinion guys at the major papers will dig into and find out more about. Mm-hmm. But it would seem to me you don't hire a guy like that unless you're grooming him for a major role down the road.
So my question is they have this overall number 2 pick of the draft. Do you feel like, because they've gone through this kind of just time period where they're there, are they on the verge of feeding the major league team? You mentioned some of the names. Are they on the verge? And like Garcia, technically, isn't he a rookie? So I guess you could almost say he's a 28-year-old rookie.
Right. If he's not a rookie, he's close enough. Now, he was a guy who was picked up from Cuba.
Sure.
So that's why he's so new yet so old. And he was with the Cardinals and with the Rangers last year for a while, and he looked like a guy. He has amazing power, but he struck out so much it just didn't do any good. And they got him to change his stance a little bit and change his batting approach. I've kind of kept waiting for him to cool off a little, and it's just not happening. He's been an amazing story.
Scott, if I put an over and under at 5 years before the Rangers are legitimate contenders again, would you take the under or the over?
I think it's under. I mean, I really do think the system's improved, and if with the new park and getting fans in it regularly, generate some revenue to where this year they can figure out which players can still be around in 2023, 2024, and say, okay, we don't have to worry about those spots anymore. And if we're not getting other guys through the minors, go out and really spend some money, bring in some good players. I do feel like in under 5 years they can be an improved team. Because the Rangers, they're looking at their 5th losing season in a row. That's never happened in Rangers history. And Daniels and his crew, they're kind of working for their jobs right now. I do feel like in the long run, if Daniels has been around for a very long time, but I feel like in about 2 or 3 years, if it's not looking like things are going to improve, I think ownership would go a different direction.
Rangers, by the way, losing 9-3 in the 7th to the Angels. They were spanked last night. Garcia went deep. He has 16 home runs.
Scott, Jason Martin getting called up after David Dahl's injury. I know we've seen like a tiny bit of him before, but what will be your scouting report on him and potential impact to the Rangers?
Yeah, he was a guy who was with the Pirates. He looked good in Double-A. Didn't really show much in Triple-A or with the Pirates. The Rangers just signed him to a minor league deal over the winter, and he's been hitting the cover off the ball in Round Rock. To be honest, I hadn't been watching him that closely because his AAA record before then really wasn't very good. And the league he's playing in is extremely offensive oriented. It's the kind of place where kind of random guys can have really good hitting streaks like that. But he plays a position that they need, and he has been a good prospect in the past. And so they're basically, it's the case of he's got an opportunity, they need somebody. Bring him up and see if it works, and if it doesn't, they can send him back down to Round Rock.
Scott R. Lucas on Twitter, the Newberg Report. He handles the coverage of the Rangers minor league system as well, and also updates along the way. Scott, you how often do you go on there? I mean, I've been on the Newberg Report. I've been a member of that or subscribed to it with what Jamie does and what you do. How often do you feed that with all the minor league teams you got to kind of monitor?
Well, in terms of doing reports, I do one every day. I don't necessarily put them all on the website, but I've got it's a free email list, and I cover every game that they play.
Thanks for your time, Scott. Great to have you on again. Scott Lucas, the Newberg Report, covers the Rangers minor league system, and also someone we might try to get back on again right before the Major League Amateur Draft, which is just around the corner. Good news about Davis Wenzel, huh? The former Baylor player as well. I'm glad you asked that, Craig. That was great stuff. Again, Rangers trailed 9-3 to Anaheim, although Garcia. Here's a note from Jared Sandler. Adolis Garcia is a 28-year-old rookie. The most home runs in a year by a player who was a rookie at age 28 or older is 29 by Christian Walker with Arizona, who was 28 his rookie year in 2019. So he's on. Now, again, he could cool off and not hit a home run for a long time, but he's on pace to be the oldest rookie to hit 29 home runs or more.
Well, it'd be a little bit more impressive if that wasn't just 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It was like 25, 35 years
2019,
ago.
2019, so it seems like 50 years ago, but it was just 2 years ago. But, yeah, I mean, I actually wish, and I didn't think about it till he was basically ending the call. I wish I would ask about Josh Young and where he's, kind of in the evolution of his career. He's obviously somebody that people are really excited about, even more so than Davis Wenzel. So should have asked him about him, but we'll try and get him next time to ask that. But, yeah, nice to hear a little bit about the Rangers minor league system. Still a work in progress, but better off than it was probably a couple years ago, that's for sure.
5:41 is the time. We'll have Paul's 5 at 5:55 coming up in a little bit. There's now yet more drama in what is the best soap opera ever on the PGA Tour.
Hey, and look, it feeds right into my top 5 at 5:55. So I appreciate Brooks Koepka doing that for me.
The latest update is, of course, you know all about the eye blinking, the cussing or whatever when DeChambeau walked near him and behind him. And then there's been so they have this match. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Phil Mickelson, and Bryson DeChambeau. Rodgers is hooked up with DeChambeau, and Koepka tweeted out, sorry, Rob, or whatever, at Aaron Rodgers, at A-Rod, whatever. DeChambeau then responded by living rent-free in your head. All right, that wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. And then Koepka then tweets a video of DeChambeau on the tee box at a tournament, and somebody said something about Brooksy, and DeChambeau was not real thrilled. There's the original tweet. Sorry, bro, at Aaron Rodgers 12. DeChambeau, it's nice to be living rent-free in your head.
I got to say, I know DeChambeau's not popular, but I actually think he's right on this.
No, yeah, I think he is now. I think
Koepka's just being a D at this point. I mean, and, some people are like, I mean, he is. Some people are like, well, Bryson's such a goof that, whatever Koepka says is going to be cool with them. And then there's, I'm sure, Bryson DeChambeau supporters that no matter what he does, they're fine with it. But, I mean, it's kind of like bullying. I mean, it's kind of turned into that almost in the last couple of days, from just a funny sort of viral moment of two guys who clearly don't like each other to kind of piling on. But, yeah, I mean, it should make for a lot more interest in this pairing for sure.
Mickelson, I didn't see this one. And he is really funny. You know, he's really kind of gotten – I feel like I'm in the middle of something and should step aside, except they want the current PGA champ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Go ahead, Phil. I mean, golly.
Okay, there's the one, Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn ready. God, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's immature as hell, but it's also hilarious. Armstrong, you would never see Jordan Spieth react this way. You would never, right? You would never. All right, Paul, will you break here and then come back with your deal?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. Again, we'll update from some notes from today in sports, including Baylor baseball on the verge of who knows if they don't win tomorrow against Kansas State, along with a couple of other things. Adrian Boitan won today down in Orlando. He's in the semifinals. We had him on earlier at 3:15. This is SicEm365 Radio.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Pay for qualified buyer with 4,000 down to 2.9% TTL extra. See deal for details.
Travel is back, and so are the savings at the Memorial Day Savings Event at Richard Carr. Hit the road in a 2016 Buick Encore for only $152 a month, a 2016 GMC Sierra for only $318 a month, a 2018 Mercedes GLA for $334 a month, or a 2015 GMC Terrain for only $135 a month. 100% credit approval is always our goal. It's a Memorial Day Savings Event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's a name and a memory that called us back. It's a belief and a labor that will carry us forward. It's a time and experience that will make you return. The new Bear Ridge Golf Club, a space revitalized, a course restored, a new experience. For a tee time today, call the Pro Shop at 254-848-7800. Go to BearRidgeWaco.com, just south of Waco on Highway 84. Come join us at Bear Ridge Golf Club.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Branson and Law, by the way, in the doubles NCAA tournament, they won their first set. They're trying to move into the semifinals. Earlier, Adrian Boitan did in singles. Anniversary today. Guess what happened on February 26th in Baylor history? I just realized that. Pepper Hamilton.
Is that on there? Is that really on this day in Baylor history? Is Pepper Hamilton?
No, I had printed it out because it reminds me every year. That's part of why the frustration of the NCAA tournament. It's been 5 years since that happened.
I mean, I don't know why you'd remind yourself of that.
That Pepper Hamilton, the day all hell broke loose?
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, no, it's been 5 years.
It's not Pearl Harbor. I mean, to me, I just know what happened.
Do you know when Florida State won a national championship? You could tell me
the exact day.
But you know the year, though, right?
Usually it's January 1st.
I don't care what you may think. May 26th for Baylor fans is always going to be the anniversary of Pepper Hamilton when all hell broke loose. I think that's going to be there forever.
I mean,
we've discussed the NCAA investigation this week 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah, but see how mad you're getting about to me, it's.
I'm not the one getting mad. You're the one that's upset. I brought it up. Why?
I didn't bring it up.
Why shouldn't I bring up February?
I didn't say. I just said I don't know why you did it. I mean, to me, I don't.
Because it's May 26th and all hell broke loose.
Okay. I mean, I've just moved past it in my life to where I don't think about it that way.
I've moved past it too, but it's an anniversary of that date that Baylor fans have ingrained in their head.
I don't think it's that big of a deal at all. As far as the conversation y'all are having, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal to bring it up. I don't think it's a big deal to not care that much. Maybe that's just me being me that doesn't care about anything or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, for those who find that interesting, great. For those that don't, fine. I don't think there really needs to be an argument about it either way. But, yeah, it's on the one hand not a fun reminder to be reminded every year about the time that the school, basically jumped with chains on its ankles and holding a cannonball into the deep end by itself of their own volition. Some people don't want to be reminded of that. Some people do want to be reminded because, hey, it's been 5 years since this whole thing started to fall apart. So, I mean, that's interesting that it's been that long.
5 years ago today, Pepper Hamilton went down. That's 5 years. It's not 3 years. It's not 4. It's not 17. It's 5 years. We've discussed the NCAA investigation on this show. Mac Rhodes discussed it with us. That's why I brought it up.
I mean, to me, though, it was, for us career-wise, was traumatic for a couple years. So, reminding myself of the day is something I'm just long past doing.
Then you should have just not said anything. If you don't want me to be reminded. It's been 5 years since Art Briles football program went into the dumpster.
That was not even close to my point. That's not even, you're not even in the ballpark of my point.
What are anniversaries? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, right?
Yeah, okay.
So that's the 5th year.
Yeah, my point was why you have it in your computer every year. It was surprising to me that
I
was
have the West explosion in my computer every year. Should I not think about that? I don't bring it up all the time.
I'm just not a thing that that's why I was asking you a question. And
you mean to tell me the anniversary of the West explosion is not brought up in West Texas on that day?
I'm sure it is. I mean, that's not. You're not even in the ballpark of my point, and don't care. And you don't care what my point is. So we can move past it because that's all that it was.
You could have just said okay, but you wanted to then say why did you bring it up?
I was curious, and then this has devolved into this.
5 years ago, Pepper Hamilton came down. It was traumatic for not just Baylor fans or whatever. It was for us. We covered it. We were in the middle of it. We reported it. We broke that story. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
God almighty, I'm sorry I brought it up. I guess it is a little bit traumatic for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's more so now that I just got yelled at for 3 minutes, but
Why did you question me bringing it up?
I was curious as to why it's
because it's 5 years.
Okay, I mean, to me, I'm not a person who, it's been this long since this or that long
That's
since
you.
this.
For me, it's 5 years. It meant something.
You could have explained that
because
calmer.
we brought up the NCAA investigation all week long, Paul.
Okay.
That's why I brought it up. If it would have been next year, or maybe I don't bring it up.
You could have said that at this volume.
You could have then done the same thing.
I wasn't yelling. At no point. This is on video.
Whether you're yelling or not. Okay, so there's some coaches that yell and some that don't.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Look.
What is this turning into? Let's just move on. This is not that big of a deal. I mean,
there was a thread on SicEm365 Premium section about what today was 5 years ago.
Okay, and you
Part
just now
of it was the
mentioned
NCAA investigation being discussed. That's why I brought it up.
Okay, but if you had said from the very, and I'm not trying to get on you because I think this is all just stupid anyways. But if you had mentioned there was a thread and a bunch of people are talking about it, then that would make more sense.
Oh, I was told nobody cared about it.
Okay, whatever.
That's not
I'm
what
not
I
even going to try
said
to
at all. We can run the tape back later, and you can watch it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't ask you.
No, that's fine. I won't bring it up at the 6th year. When you celebrate an anniversary, it's the first.
Who's celebrating them opening an investigation?
I'm not saying celebrate. When you bring up an anniversary, yesterday was 1 year from the George Floyd deal, right? That was reported all day long. You think that's not traumatic?
Yeah, I was
asking. We do a show that covers Baylor.
I was asking you in just a fundamental sense of
why did I bring it up?
Yeah, or why it's in your computer. That's what I was worrying. Do you have that? Send a reminder to yourself.
That's none of your business if it's in my computer, but it is.
Dude, are you serious right now?
May 26th is going to be in my computer for a long, long time until finally we get the answers from the NCAA. Then I'll delete it.
That's all I wanted to know. Was why was it? I mean, it's kind of it was a strange thing.
Some of us keep things in our computer.
I mean, I saw you. Okay.
I printed it out.
Absolutely.
I'm about to walk off the show if we don't move on. If we don't move on, because we're at the end of the show, we need to do top 5 at 5. We've been talking for 10 minutes about nothing.
It's been about
basically.
4.
I don't know. I think it's past 4.
I'll give in. I'm sorry. I was overly sensitive.
What are you talking about? Nobody's saying anything about you. You're making it now all of a sudden as though you're playing. I'm sorry.
Do your 5.
No, I mean, okay, whatever.
What I brought up is a traumatic time in the history of Baylor, and so I brought it up, and you wanted to know why. It's obvious why. To me, it is. If I'm wrong, if I'm in the minority, that's fine. You can drill me on the message board, or you can text us now. It's been 5 years. We discussed the NCAA investigation. That's why it's in my computer. That's why it was brought up. I'll never forget May 26th of 2016, ever.
Clearly,
yeah, I mean, nor will I. I just it's just. I'm just asking a fundamental question, and I did not expect.
You know
this
what?
at
On
all.
April the 6th, I have a reminder that pops up that tells me that's our first show. All right?
Okay. Yeah. That's all right. Well, please, let's do the top 5 at 5 and try to change this 5.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
Brought to you by Slapsticks Comedy Club. Get your tickets now for our show on Saturday night at Rogue Media Network, slapstickscomedy.com. You can go there. In the, we were just talking about the Twitter beef and the beef between DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka. Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau will be taking on Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady in a match play event. Tom Brady and Phil and Tiger, and forgetting who the other one was last year, did something similar. And these are celeb golf pairings I would like to see more than Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. All right, number 5, Rory McIlroy and Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake's a fun dude. Really good celebrity golfer. Rory McIlroy seems fun. I think they'd be a good match.
Yeah, I mean, God, it feels silly to try to be all fun and loose now. But, yeah, I think Rory McIlroy and Justin Timberlake would be a good match, like you said. Don't know much about Rory's personality because I don't follow it as closely as you guys do. But, yeah, I could see that being entertaining.
All right, number 4, Jordan Spieth and Charles Barkley. Barkley's going to need the help. Spieth seems like he'd be he'd keep it in the fairway enough. And Barkley's personality, I think, would be fun with Jordan Spieth.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would be quite the odd couple, and it would be fantastic. And I would love to see their personalities play off of each other.
It would be far less awkward than this is right now. Number 3. Dustin Johnson and Tony Romo. Romo's an excellent celebrity golfer. Dustin Johnson hits it long. I think this would be much more fun to watch than Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. Especially since Aaron Rodgers is not going to talk about anything right now. Number 2, in the spirit of getting this over with today, Brooks Koepka and Bill Murray. Bill Murray's funny could help Brooks Koepka loosen up a little bit.
Anybody team with Bill Murray would loosen him up.
Yeah.
Bill Murray could be in our studio now and it would help.
Yeah, I wish he was here. Yeah. Wish he was here. Number 1, Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. Why this hasn't happened, and now, of course, with Tiger Woods' legs, it may never happen, but I don't know why they haven't done this yet.
I bet they have played more times than we can imagine. And there's been a huge amount of money, but not in a celebrity match.
Yeah, but if it's going to be Phil and Brady, I mean, wouldn't you rather see? I mean, if they could have done this, I would rather see Phil and Brady versus. I mean, that's all goats right there.
Phil and Brady,
and then Tiger and I mean, that's just
that's
3 of the best people at everything, and then Phil's probably the most comparable one to Tiger that you could do.
2 things about PGA golfers. Tony Romo, that was going to play on the PGA Tour, and when he does, he's been in a couple of exemptions, doesn't work out well, and that Michael Jordan could play on the professional tour, and that absolutely was just people losing their mind over how great a player and athlete Michael Jordan was. That was not going to happen.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
All right, thanks to Adrian Boitan for his time today. Also, thanks to Mark Vidal. That is up, and some clips of that Hayden's put up on the a new feature in SicEm365 premium section as well. Thanks to John Machota. Thanks to Scott Lucas. Thanks to Jason Jennings as well. And also thanks to Emma and Hayden. Thanks to also Armstrong, Sims, Paul, and Craig. I'm David Smoak. SicEm365 Radio. Good night.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.